Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill among men. We praise thee, we bless thee, we worship thee, we glorify thee. We give thanks to thee for thy great glory. O Lord, heavenly King, God the Father Almighty, O Lord, the only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, and O Holy Spirit. O Lord God, Lamb of God, Son of the Father, that takest away the sin of the world, have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Thou that takest away the sins of the world, receive our prayer. Receive our prayer. Thou that sittest at the right hand of the Father, have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. For thou only art holy, thou only art the Lord, O Jesus Christ, to the glory of God the Father. Amen. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever. Forever and ever. Vouchsafe, O Lord, to keep us this day without sin. Blessed art thou, O Lord, the God of our fathers, and praised and glorified is thy name unto the ages. Amen. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be upon us according as we have hoped in thee. Blessed art thou, O Lord, teach me thy statutes. Blessed art thou, O Lord, teach me thy statutes. Blessed art thou, teach me thy statutes. Lord, thou hast been our refuge in generation and generation. I said, O Lord, have mercy on me. Heal my soul, for I have sinned against thee. O Lord, unto thee have I fled for refuge. Teach me to do thy will, for thou art my God. For in thee is the fountain of life. In thy light shall we see light. O continue thy mercy unto them that know thee. Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, both now and ever, and unto the ages of ages. Amen. Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, have mercy on us.
Welcome. Welcome everyone to the stream. Can everyone see? Can everyone hear? Are we all good to go?
Do I have a delay whenever I speak? Because I have my Chrome still open with my 130 tabs.
You seem to be fine for
Cool.
now. I've decided to wear my... You're for sure faking, but you can't. I can tell. I have experience in this stuff. I can tell when somebody's pulling that trick. I had a sarcastic uncle. Yeah, good one though.
130 amateur. That's just in Chrome. On my desktop. My phone has 200 tabs open, and then I have another like 30 open in Edge and another 20 open in
Jewish conspiracies from
Firefox.
the 16th century.
I'm not. No. But depending on what I'm doing on my computer, I do have to like close specific browsers so my computer doesn't crash.
The song is from Byzantine Rock, which you can find on here. Let me just put it in the chat. It's funny, I say the conspiracy stuff. I'm actually going to be having a preliminary off-air conversation and then potentially an on-air conversation with a fella who specializes in the Jews. And I think he's more, I don't think he's a bad faith actor, so I'm going to give it a shot having the discussion
I was gonna say
and
Tobias
seeing where
Singer,
it
but then I
goes.
think that just eliminated it. But
No, yeah, so no, somebody who specializes in the Jews, meaning that they're, into the Israel conspiracies, Jewish conspiracies, control of the world stuff, but less of
ah,
a, more focused on the people that are actually at fault, so to speak, that happen to be Jewish, if that makes sense. So,
I'm
yeah,
intrigued. I'm intrigued.
same.
and he's got a pretty big audience, so it might be edifying for me to go on there and kind of set the record straight with some stuff because he's not
You
wrong
see,
about
he's
some
joining
things.
the Groypers.
I'm a griper now, you see. Where's my stream? There we go. There we go. I'm gonna put it in the chat in one moment. I just had it a second ago. Where did it go? There we go. Byzantine Rock, the Great Doxology. Share, copy the link.
Asher,
And
is that
then
music stuff you've generated, like
what do you mean by
personally, or did you
generated?
just find it?
No,
Like
that's
AI.
I generated that with AI. I actually do make music, and I think my knowledge of music allowed me to make a better product with AI than
Hmm.
you would otherwise get. But yeah,
It's like an odd,
there we
heavy
go.
blues in C minor. It's very
Yeah, it's
swell. I
pretty cool.
like it.
It is pretty cool, actually. I like the way that it turned out. There's like two albums on there, and one is a little bit more
Do you
AI-y,
ever
but also pretty cool.
do you ever plan on making your own album of related stuff?
Yeah, so I used to have some music up that was both humorous and political, and since starting to actually get into genuinely important topics, I've taken a lot of it down.
Mm.
Um,
You mean the poop
so
song?
yes, that's still there
Oh, there
on
was a poop
YouTube.
song.
Yeah, I
You don't
have
know
it on my
about
desktop.
SHIT Blues?
Yeah, yeah.
We can talk about it. But
I just pooped. I have that soundbite actually. I just pooped my
oh, you gotta get it
pants.
as a sound.
And
Oh,
yeah,
my pants, babe.
I have that as a GIF
Anyway,
with you just looking at the camera going, pretty good.
that's funny. And then the property that we were living at the time had this like outhouse on the property
Mm.
that said "Come sit a spell," and so it was like perfect for what I was doing with it because I had made
Southern
that song like joking
hospitality.
around with friends like years earlier, and then made the video like afterwards. But yeah, somebody asked here, did Ash gain extra control powers by being a Catholic in addition to being Jewish? So you don't know how conspiracy theories work, all right? Because if you knew how conspiracy theories worked, you wouldn't ask this question, right? Either you're in the camp that thinks that the Catholic Church is controlled by the Jews, or it's controlled by the Freemasons and the Jews. But either way, it would all be one thing anyways. You wouldn't get extra by being Catholic in addition to being Jewish. That's already the way that it works. Does that make sense?
It's the dark dyad of world control.
That's why I'm wearing my World Control-y dragon jacket made of silk that was custom made for me by a small man in Shanghai.
Wasn't that originally like your communist outfit?
Yeah, it was my I'm going to be a communist for my videos outfit. No, I just got it because it was cool when I was there. I went to the, I think it's called the Bund, the market, and we found this like tailor, and they're like, $150, you get 5 suits, custom made. So, yeah. I mean, it's more likely for debate. It's more likely that the Jews founded Islam than the Catholic Church. I mean, other than the original Jews who founded the Catholic Church.
It's true. Indeed.
Nope, I'm trying to pull out as many funny jokes as I can here. Let me see. I also want to do this. Whichever channel you're watching on, fund those shekels.
Yeah,
There's a small
Pol
delay.
has given me a number of super chats, and they're all in shekels always, because she's Jewish in Israel. So then I can talk about like, oh yes, I'm paid in shekels. You see, it's a good time.
Why don't I have the thing that says favorite or not favorite, like the two things of maybe because nobody super chatted yet, so it doesn't star anything yet.
Oh,
there we go. If I star something, it goes.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. Yeah, Islam is too stupid to have an actual Jewish origin. You said it. You said it, not me.
Well, there is some debate. I'm currently writing a book on the topic. For those who are unaware.
Plagiarized from the Jews, perhaps.
Yeah, well, it's not even really like strict plagiarism. It's more like a paraphrase. It's a poorly written elementary paraphrase of Judaism that's a little bit more violent and way more sexual. That's roughly Islam. Then you mix in some like pagan nonsense and Zoroastrian nonsense and Christian beliefs.
Is it just my ears, or is Chris's audio a bit distorted?
I think it's your ears, and you were lagging also before, Stephen.
Oh, okay. Well,
you just need a
apologies
relay
ahead
in
of
your
time
basement.
for the several interruptions that I will think that I'm coming in at a pause, and then I end up talking over you guys. So give me the Hollis hand.
He's deep in the concrete right now, so I don't think Starlink would even help because
well, yeah, you'd have
the
to
amount
the
of
wire
penetration
anyways.
it would need. Right? Yeah.
I'm like Bin
He's on
Laden
his phone.
watching Super Mario videos or whatever that was.
Yeah, with like the canvas background, you're like, and the Jerusalem thing with the dome and everything. You're like a Jewish Bin Laden right now.
It's so hard to get
I thought
that thing
Bin Laden was the
edited out
Jewish
of
Bin
the.
Laden.
Next time I come over, I hope you set up your internet better.
Yeah, I
thought
pay
Bin
too
Laden
much
was
for
the
this
Jewish Bin
terrible
Laden.
internet. $104 a month. It's a ripoff, if you ask me. But you know, I am of a
How much is
particular
that?
persuasion where everything seems like a ripoff.
You could.
I turned my mic down. Hopefully it's
You could
better.
route a cable.
He could route it, but he's on his phone.
Yeah, I have
So
an
you
extender
just
down here.
need to get off Wi-Fi.
No, but you could route a
Yeah.
cable and do an extender.
Okay.
There'd be a lot of like stuff to do, but you could route it to a router that plugs in and has
in that
the Wi-Fi
room
to it.
specifically, or at the bottom of the stairs pointing into that room. Yeah.
Anyways, why won't this do this properly? Anyways, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna review just a clip from the interview that Alex, what's his name?
O'Connor.
I want to say Alex the agnostic and just leave it at that. Alex O'Connor interviewed a rabbi, and asked him his opinions on Jesus. Now, there's some interesting things about this interview and this rabbi that we'll go over, but we also want to address the claims that he makes about Jesus and the early Jewish followers of Jesus and the reliability of claims of Christianity and so on, especially as relates to Judaism, which with this rabbi in particular is very funny. So
which rabbi
we're going to
is
do
it?
that. I forgot his name already. Wolpe, David Wolpe.
Oh, I used to know. I've heard about
Not
him.
Wolpe.
I used to
Wolpe.
watch some stuff. And he used to do debates a long time ago when you guys were kids. When I first
Back in the day.
when I first became observant, there was a thing called On Demand that I had just gotten to see. And so it was the coolest thing because back then, you know, TV was, if you missed it, you missed it. But then there was On Demand TV. And so you could call it back up. And I was
He
trying to
debated
watch all
Christopher
sorts
Hitchens
of.
back in the day.
Yeah, he did. And it was it was kind of a poor showing. Christopher Hitchens, you know, he relied more on charisma, I think, because his arguments were okay, a lot of times, but mostly he was just such a good speaker that he was good like that. But yeah, that's what I know him from, because I've seen all of Christopher Hitchens' debates. But and yeah, okay, so oh wow, so he's still a figure then, David Wolfe.
Yeah. Well, one might put it like that,
Oh,
if he's relevant in any capacity. But I guess trying to stay relevant. I did find
he's
out that did find
is
out
he
that Israel
reform?
Horowitz did a debate with, yeah, he's reformed. That's the funny part about this.
Oh,
But
okay.
he I found out that Israel Horowitz recently did a debate with Shabbos Kestenbaum, and that's going to
Oh,
be going
Shabbos
live.
Kestenbaum.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
I would love to debate Shabbos Kestenbaum. Humiliate him. Anyways, well, in Judaism we have this
Sir,
little dude. Okay. All right. I think we're gonna play this video and get into it a little bit. And then there's one that he does on the atrocities in the Old Testament as well. One section on that. If we have time, we could do that as well, because that would be interesting. And add to stage.
Talk to me, if you don't mind, about the challenge posed to Jewish theology by the rising of Christianity. Here's a religious tradition that says, look, we have these historical texts, these texts which are really well historically attested, that a man died and rose from the dead and claimed to be the Jewish Messiah. In the face of somebody who says this is a historically tested event, this, if what he was saying is true, then you should accept this man as your Lord and God. What do you say in the face of those ideas?
So, I mean, this is, as you can imagine, this has been debated for thousands of years. The principal thing I would say is, look, the Jewish community was there. They met him. They spoke to him. They knew him. Somehow, he didn't make the impression. Like, if God's walking on earth, you would think more than 12 people would say, oh my God, that's God's walking on earth.
Wow.
Wow, right
Already
off
a
the
false
bat with
claim?
some stupidity.
Right off
Yep.
the bat? Wow.
Yep.
I mean,
Stephen, care to start? Since you have something to say there.
first of all, it was definitely more than 12 people. Second of all,
Yeah, 12,
No, only
12 chosen disciples who represent the 12 tribes of Israel,
yeah,
who will be the leaders of the new Israel,
to take the message to the world.
to take the message to the world.
Right.
Those
Which they
12
did.
chosen disciples is not all the people following Jesus.
Right.
That's just,
I mean, even
frankly, retarded.
going into Acts in one day on Shavuot with 3,000 men, not counting the women and the children.
I mean, multitudes
Well,
following him even throughout the Gospels, thousands of
Yeah,
people,
right,
like
right.
5,000 being fed
Yeah.
there. Like,
even at the Last Supper, you have Mary there. You also have Mark, who fled naked as a boy. You have a variety of people there. It's not just the 12,
Wow,
which
that's
is nonsense.
okay,
And
man.
then probably also the wife of Peter's there too. Maybe his mother-in-law.
hope-
But like, you have
I
at
hope
least
it
like
gets better
15,
than
20
this.
people, if not hundreds.
it's an insane thing to say as a
Yeah.
pretend intellectual that he is.
Well, I didn't want to
Incredibly
I didn't want to cast any reform as Ash, you might know. I mean,
So I'll say this. I met a Reformed gentleman this past Sunday. He's actually was invited by our priest. How they met, whole different story, but he was invited by our priest to come check out our church. And he came to hang out and see what our liturgy is like. And I spoke to him afterwards, and he was really nice, respectful, didn't have like any negative opinions towards Christianity, loves his Jewish background, loves Christians. Like, this is the first person from Reformed Judaism that I've ever encountered who wasn't more rabidly anti-Christian than Orthodox Jews are.
mhm.
generally speaking, the people that have the most bizarre and odd things to say about Christianity tends to come from like secular, unaffiliated, and Reformed Jews.
Yeah. Well, and it's because Reformed Jews, and I get it. I 100% get it. They like the Jewish identity and community, but they kind of hijack that. Well, I wouldn't say hijack. What's the right word? They're not. I
So
mean, you
the dangerous
could
thing
be
to me is the fact that they
an
have
atheist, right?
the cultural Jewish identity of chosen people, but none of the theological or moral compass that goes along with it.
right, which puts them at odds with every biblical description of Israel from cover to cover. And so it's just you know,
Reformed
but,
Judaism in a nutshell.
yeah, it's
You
it's
call
lox
this a
and
bagel?
bagels and and that's about it.
I have Kugel in my thumbnail, and Ash still hasn't mentioned it. Pretty disappointed.
Because you made me fat eating the kugel.
I mean, I didn't make
It's
you
a
fat
lot
eating
of
the Kugel.
complex carbohydrates, Chris. That's alliteration.
I will say, I've let myself go a little bit with the weight. Okay. I'm back to calorie restricting and working out to get it back down. But I'm not
Same.
that fat.
You're not that bad.
That
No,
puts
like,
me at
I-
a solid like 360 the way that you have it in that picture, and I'm only like 270.
I actually thought about asking the AI to make you less fat, and then decided not to because it was funny. And today, I'm also dieting. I'm only eating once a day. I'm doing intermittent fasting. And my wife was like, "I'm hungry. Cook me dinner." I was like, "What do you want?" And she's like, "I want chicken parmesan and risotto." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. This is like an hour and a half process, and I'm not going to eat it." And it smells so good the entire time. And I'm just like, it doesn't reheat that well. I'm just like, I know I would really enjoy this if I eat it, and I have to stare at it for a solid like 40 minutes of nothingness while my mouth is watering and I'm getting like stomach acid buildup. This is just desiring it.
Well,
so
you know what happened to
badly.
me was I've had 4 children, the oldest of which is 5.
Wow.
So a few pregnancies, like back to back. So my wife will ask for like some sweet food or ice cream or something like that, and I'll have some with her. The difference is I don't have like a stopping thing. So she'll have like a few like tastes of ice
neither.
cream, and then I'll finish the entire container.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yes.
I've eaten whole like pints of ice cream in one sitting.
See, but you weigh like 120 pounds, so I don't really feel like that works.
Well, yeah, because I'm just generally unwell, Chris. You have to balance. Everything's a balance.
You only sleep 2 hours a night. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a normal.
Ugh.
normal amount. All right, let's get back into
It's
this.
a bit much.
All right, boy. I hope it gets better.
It does not.
I think that Christianity actually has a bigger burden than Judaism. If God literally walked the earth, why didn't the people around him recognize him?
I wonder. I don't know how much we can know.
Anything there?
What? What about Exodus 32? We've got the people at the bottom of Mount Sinai, and Moses goes up after they say, no, we don't want to hear God anymore. Moses, you go up, talk to God. And they go, this man Moses, he's taking too long. Let's build ourselves a god out of gold. Who just witnessed the 10 plagues, watched the sea split. Then they come out, and I mean, these people personally witnessed that. And now they have Moses up on the mountain with God, and then they say, he's taking too long. He's probably not coming back. We need to figure something out. This is completely incoherent. According to, I'm going off of what he would view as scripture. This is crazy.
Well, he's saying that
It's a
like,
terrible
why didn't they
argument.
recognize God walking the earth when he was there? It's like, I mean, even the enemies recognize that if what he's doing and saying is true, that he must be divine, and therefore they think he's a blasphemer, because they're like, who is this that can forgive sins?
Right,
Who is this that can raise the dead? Who is this that can heal the blind? They're like, all these things that only God can do, this man is doing. And that's the Pharisees who hate him
Yep.
and are rejecting him. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Talmud straight up admits that he's the sorcerer.
Well, we'll get to that. We will get to that. It's gonna come up.
So
What
I
about
can't remember
yeah.
what source it is. It's a later source, but what's the source where I think it's like the 1300s or 1400s. There's some rabbinic writing where it has Jesus as learning how to pronounce the divine name and this giving him magical powers. Because anyone who knows, it's kind of like Solomon's ring. Solomon's ring gave him magical
I
powers
think
because it had
he
Yahweh
puts like
written
a
on it.
parchment with the divine name like in a wound
Yeah.
on his body and it heals
Well,
over.
Right, he has like a razor blade in his mouth and he cuts himself to insert the divine name onto him. So whenever the guards search his body, they don't find because apparently it was such a thing that they had to have guards search everyone that came out of the temple so that no one actually could know the name of God.
Right.
Do you know what that is off the top of your head?
It could be somebody saying it's in Toldot Yeshu. I think it's in the Talmud itself somewhere in a redacted. There's like a
I think it
redacted
was too.
passage.
Yeah.
Probably in Toldot Yeshu as
sense.
well.
I know Yeshua has a lot of crazy stuff about him.
Is that a Kramer? Is that a Kramer in that picture? Sorry, that's so off topic. Sorry. In the chat, that person who put that comment. Looked like
a Kramer electric
my
guitar.
my middle
I thought you
brother's
meant Kramer from Seinfeld.
oh yeah, no, Kramer guitar. My middle brother's first guitar was a white Kramer. It had less pickups than that, but I thought, wow, that kind of looks familiar. Sorry,
Those
that's
guitars
off
that they
topic.
make now with like 19 pickups and 15 switches.
Yeah.
Bro, you don't even know how to play guitar yet.
Well, you know, the proportion of people who actually met and interacted with Jesus who
Well,
believed
you
in
have
him.
in the New Testament the Jews saying, gathered around the cross, and Jesus walked among the Jewish community, and was a Jew, and so it seems to me a really difficult unless you want to go the route of the Jews are wicked, which many Christians did
sure.
for a
He's saying that the only way that you can justify this is like, oh, the Jews are wicked, so they rejected their God. You mean like it says in the Old Testament that they're gonna do?
Right. All the time.
Read Judges.
Doesn't the Old Testament
and
call them
Kings?
wicked and harlots and betrayers? Like,
Yeah.
we'll get to some other terminology that he's gonna laugh about, but it's like it's explicitly Old Testament about God's relationship with Israel.
One of the top comment on this video on Alex's channel is, listen, I think if the Jewish community was rescued from Egypt, we wouldn't immediately start worshiping a golden calf.
Yeah, right.
Like exactly. Like what do you mean? Like
I even
they
had,
saw
you know,
all
Yehudi
these
Yisrael
miracles,
that comes on.
all this. Yeah.
You know Yehudi Yisrael that comes on my channel. So I spoke to him, and we spoke offline once in just a phone call, and I asked him, if you read the Bible narrative, forget all the stuff you can arrive at if you have Bible with no kind of teacher to go through it with you, right? And you just come to all conclusions on your own, right? You could become a Gnostic, who knows what else, right? I'm like, who's the protagonist in the story? If you just read it, you don't have any tradition, you just read the story, who's the protagonist? Who's the good guy? Who's the main character? He's like, and he's like trying to beat around the bush. Eventually he goes, yeah, it's God. God's the protagonist, the only protagonist. Okay. Who's the bad guy? Well, there's the Egyptians, and I'm like, no, those are minor characters. If this was a literary work, the Egyptians are a minor character. The Babylonians are a minor character. Who is the main one who's at odds with the protagonist the entire time? It's literally in the name.
Yeah.
Israel, who struggles with God. It's literally in the name.
Which is some of the best evidence for the reliability of the Old Testament. Like,
I
imagine
agree.
a religion making a book dogging on themselves the entire time.
Right.
Like, the whole point is that they're the bad guys.
Even every
Have you seen
hero.
that meme? So have you seen that meme with like the crazy like stick figure atheist who's going like, "How we found out archaeology proves that the ancient Israelites were polytheists who worship multiple gods," and like you see a Christian in the next one going, "The Bible says the Israelites were polytheists who worship multiple gods."
Right. All the Yahwist.
It's like, has this rabbi
scholars.
read the Bible? Like, has he read the Tanakh,
Right,
I
right.
don't think so.
or has he only read like modern Jewish philosophical works?
Mm.
Like God
Like,
literally
he must hear the
came to
Torah
Earth.
reading weekly, right? Other than that, has he read the prophets?
Yeah.
Well, even
do you
within the
think,
Torah,
what do you
like
think
in
he repents
Exodus,
for during during the lead up to Yom Kippur? It's there's it's so interesting. But I guess this is what we run into with. I guess it is kind of, you could argue it's low hanging fruit because it's a reform rabbi. So and again, I'm not trying to like totally trash on reform.
But
It's
these
just
become
not really
talking
a.
points that a lot of like Orthodox rabbis will use now in the modern era, where it's like less popular to insult Jesus. So like Jesus was a great rabbi, he was this
Right.
eccentric teacher, he had all these nice things to say, but really at the end of the day he led Israel astray, and that's why they
Right.
punished him. It wasn't really nice that they did that, but you should have seen it coming. And really Paul's the bad guy though. Paul's
Yeah,
the
right.
real
Paul.
villain,
Paul.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's the new talking points, but they get that from like reform, like secular scholars, right? The
Hmm.
reform Jewish scholars,
Yeah.
and then
I'd
internet
say.
Jews pick it up and repeat it.
Right?
But even
Like, you
this
have
idea of like, oh, if God came to the earth, how could the Jews have rejected him? But in Exodus, he literally came to the earth repeatedly for 40 years.
Hmm.
And even before that, they saw his presence on the mountain of fire at Sinai. They experienced him. They heard his voice.
And then
They
the pillar
talked
of
to him.
cloud and the pillar of fire.
They,
And
yeah, and then at the tent of meeting, like God came down from the pillar of cloud to meet with Moses at the tent of meeting. All
yeah.
of that, and they still created the golden calf.
And
they
then
immediately
even
went astray.
Moses' own sister and brother, when Miriam is saying, "Oh, you think you're so special? God talks to all of us." Like even Moses' own sister. So this idea that if God does all these things, people would just automatically recognize it, and here's the messianic age. That is not. There is no precedence for that at all, and it's bizarre to me that he's making this, like, he seems very confident in this opinion. It would be different if he was sitting there and it seemed like he was thinking out loud. But this is something that it seems like he's formulated and he's comfortable
Well, he's
with.
like, I'm a Jewish scholar. I'm presenting Judaism to you, telling you what Judaism.
Right.
This is how Jews view Christianity. This is how the
Right,
Jewish world
right.
views it. It's like, what are you, nuts?
Right.
Like even Orthodox Judaism doesn't view it that way. They believed he was a sorcerer who did these things by witchcraft and magic,
right.
right? But they still acknowledge all the immense things that happened,
Mm-hmm.
including
Now, I want
walking
everybody
on
to
water
clip
and all
that,
kinds
though.
of stuff from the New Testament.
Everybody, whoever was wondering, you just have Ash. He said, "We have." He's one of them. He's a plant. He's, he's talking about Orthodox Judaism. He says, "We have." You got him, guys. You caught
Well,
him.
somebody's asking
So-
to wear the Shtreimel on one of your streams. I've actually never owned a Shtreimel. Chabad doesn't wear
Do you?
Shtreimels.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
They're only
I
20
did
bucks on
wear a
Amazon.
Shtreimel like hat when I went to Ukraine for a Chabad festival in Gadich.
Ooh. There's a Strymel thong you can own.
Ooh.
Get your Strymel
Moving
on.
on.
It's time to party.
I've not got a Strymel, but I have my grandfather's Russian, like it's fox fur,
Now it works.
and it's
stuck
got the
between a
ear
beer and a
flaps. It's super warm, but also it's so old that it sheds now, and I feel like I have to preserve it for my family, so I don't wear it. But it's fox fur, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's those
There
two
was
guys.
one Hasidic movement banned real fur Strymels because people were spending way too much money on it. So the Rebbe
Yeah,
actually
they're crazy
told people
expensive.
not to, because people were spending $15,000 on a Strymel.
Mm.
Got a silk bekishe, you got a Strymel, you got a gold Cartier watch. Now you know you're a real chassid.
You got to spend 40,000 on your wardrobe. Yeah.
There was a joke. So Chabad doesn't have like Chabad has its own weirdisms about the Rebbe, but it's very different than like the Polish Hasidim versions of like weird things about the Rebbe. So I had this guy had like a Farbrengen with Chabad was once like, well, he was totally wasted, but he was joking about like mimicking a Polish Hasidic Rebbe. Mr.
Meisels. Become so ortho, bro. I like your channel for the sake.
The heck are you talking
You know, he's
about?
not Orthodox. He's not Eastern Orthodox.
I'm not Eastern Orthodox. Do you mean Mr. Mays? What was that supposed to be?
Mr. Mazel Tov.
He
Mr. Mazel
definitely
Tov?
supposed to be Maze, but you're Mazels.
Is that like a disease or something?
I've had that once. There's
Anyways.
a cream for that.
Yeah.
If I'm
Anyways.
paying 15,000 for anything, I better be able to drive it or live in it.
You got banned? Why did you get banned? Anyways. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so he's mimicking like a Polish Hasidic like Rebbe, and he's like, he shows off his gold watch first. He's like, look, everyone, my gold watch, and then he's gonna start like pulling malachim, like angels, out of the air and like putting them, keeping them in his bekisha for later. But your channel helped me go off the derech. Okay, off the derech means not religious anymore.
The way, yeah.
Jewish speak.
The
Yeah, let's
way.
get back to this.
No, we have a true way, which is Jesus Christ, by the way. There's a true derech.
Derech.
Yep.
Long time
Yeah.
precisely to explain this.
To explain why
difficulty.
they wouldn't.
I think that it's harder for Christians than it is for Jews to explain how this guy proved to be relatively ineffectual.
That's what I think that
Relatively ineffectual.
Man, it's almost as if no one's ever heard of Christianity or, you know,
This
you
can't
know,
be real.
the world didn't become entirely Christian within like 200 years. That was that didn't
relatively
happen.
ineffectual.
Under persecution, it grew to be the largest religion.
All right. Well,
Thousands converted overnight.
I said I hope this gets
Ineffectual.
better, and it just keeps getting worse to where I can't actually. Like, this feels like Spinal Tap. This feels like a skit of like who could make the worst argument ever. Wow.
And Alex
Yeah.
isn't pushing back.
Right,
Alex
at all.
knows better, and he isn't pushing back.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you're not allowed to push back when it's a Reformed Jewish rabbi. Don't you know that, Chris?
You lose all your shekels.
looking at,
You'll lose your shekels.
for instance, the accounts of the resurrection, I'm often told that what we have is a sort of group of eyewitness testimonies that people claimed to see Jesus after he died, and the people who saw Jesus were quite limited. I mean, Paul seems to suggest that 500 people saw Jesus at one point, but he's appearing to his disciples, and so for the wider community of people, all that they actually had to go on when it comes to the resurrection was the testimony of the people that saw him. They didn't actually get to see Jesus for himself.
No, but they saw Jesus walk in the world. Was Jesus not?
Did you catch that? So now Alex is making the dumb arguments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is weird.
Like when Paul writes, hey, 500 of you, 500 of
seems
you
to
guys who I'm writing
suggest-
to
Mm-hmm.
saw Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
right? That would be kind of wacky for him to say that to a group of people that never saw him.
Right.
Don't you
Yeah,
guys
he
He was
remember?
just
Sounded-
suggesting.
He also ascended it on the mountainside, according to Luke, in a crowd of people. We don't get the number of the crowd of people, but he's literally ascending to heaven with presumably a massive crowd in front of him. Like, we have no idea how many people actually saw the resurrected Jesus. It's at least 513. Probably much more than that.
I'm going to briefly go visit some other live stream, uh, and I will return shortly. Boy, oh boy,
Okay.
what a video this is, though.
What other live stream?
Peeing. Because
Oh.
he's alive and it's a stream.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Should we wait for him?
No, he takes forever to pee.
Oh,
Because he also sometimes goes and
that's his-
checks
I
on
thought
his
the
family.
Gadfly was here, but it's still him.
Yeah, no. He has a great Gadfly impression, though. He's modest about it. Steven is big
Let's-
time. He does. Uh,
Is Judaism contagious or something? Apparently not.
uh,
Special enough for the majority of Jews to see that God is actually walking on earth. And also, even if 500 people, I mean, we
Yeah.
don't have that kind of, there's no testimony in Jewish sources at the time,
Yeah.
which you would think there would be, because after all, there have been
is Paul a
other
Jew?
false messiahs in Jewish history. Forgive me for calling.
Shlomo Abel, who said he's off the derech because of him, he says, no, Ash Mays, you are actually very cool, by the way. I mean, you genuinely studied so much for this, and you are always knowledgeable about this ancient stuff. Lots of respect for you, bro. Yeah. Well, if you start off by telling somebody that they're wrong or bad for something, and then you start talking like that, we can tell you're being rude and facetious. Although you're right, I do know a lot about this stuff. But he's saying that the fact that the Jewish people didn't accept him as the Messiah is the proof that he's not the Messiah.
Mm-hmm. Which is just nonsense. Because the Jews did accept him as Messiah. That's what the church is. The church was almost entirely Gentile for years, and then well, not Gentiles, entirely Jewish for years, and then Gentiles eventually, overcame them just by sheer numbers. But all of the authors of the Bible are Jewish, Old Testament, New Testament. Is that not a
Right,
testimony?
this is going to be the last time I address this. My last video was satire. Were you too stupid to understand that? And so you're coming in trying to start a fight, create problems, distract the whole chat from the video, distract me from the video because you didn't understand satire? Like, I'm fine with people actually insulting me, actually calling me names. I've been okay with people threatening me too. But when you're trying to derail the entire stream because you didn't like my last video, come on, grow up. Anyways, let's listen to that again.
People. I mean, we
Yeah.
don't have that kind of, there's no testimony in Jewish sources at the time,
Yeah.
which you would think there would be, because after all, there have been other false messiahs in Jewish history. Forgive me for calling Jesus a false messiah, but that's how he's seen in Jewish history. And they were very widespread, and like Shabtai Tzvi in the 16th century, 1600s, swept
So he's
across the Jewish world, and people who
he's saying the Jews en masse didn't accept Jesus as the Messiah. So that must mean he's not the Messiah. But then he points to a false Messiah who was accepted by the masses of people.
Yeah.
How does that
kind of
make
a
sense? Make
big
that make
problem.
sense.
It's that's kind of telling that the Jews are willing to accept false messiahs.
En masse, we will
En
accept
masse.
the worst, most
Yeah.
obviously false Messiah that ever lived, who became a Muslim.
Several times, actually. It's not just the only false messiah that's gained massive support. Even recent history.
It's like, how
So
does
why
that
did
make
they
sense?
not accept Jesus?
He just debunked his earlier approach to why Jesus can't be the Messiah. But not only that, did you see what he does there? Look at this. This is I don't know if people caught this. This is what shows what kind of intellectual this is.
in the 16th century, 1600s,
Did you catch that?
Yeah, I caught it the first time as well. in 17th century
Shabtai was
versus-
mid 17th century, so 1600s. So he says 16th
Mhm.
century first, which is fine. We all make mistakes, right? It's off the cuff.
Right.
You're in an interview. I don't expect him to get everything perfect, and he corrected himself. The thing that he did though was he went 16th century, realized he got it wrong, and instead of saying like, "Oops, I mean 17th century," and I just got the dates wrong, he
Mhm.
goes like 1600s, as if it's like on the cusp, like it could have been 16th century, like late 1500s, and it's like it's not. It's mid. It's 1666 was the big event. So rather than just say, I was wrong, oops, let me get the date right and correct himself, he pretends like it was like, oh, well, I could be kind of right there. Like it's on the cusp. Very dishonest.
Swept across the Jewish world. And people who met him were immediately impressed and thought, oh my God, this really is the Messiah.
You say
So
Mechim?
the bottom line is, I don't think that Jesus is a theological challenge to the Jewish tradition. When people ask me how Judaism sees Jesus, we see him as a teacher who said some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with. There are lots of reasons to me why.
What do you agree with?
I'll let you take that, Chris.
Oh man, Jesus claimed to be God, my guy. It's kind of like the liar, Lord, and lunatic, like the trilemma of C.S. Lewis. But why in the world are you picking and choosing what Jesus is saying when he's claiming to be both Messiah and God, and he's just a good rabbi? When, according to the Jewish sources that predate this dude by centuries, Jesus is a deceiver. He's the one that leads people astray. He's a sorcerer. He is the one that caused all of the suffering for the Jewish people. He's possibly boiling in poop, depending on your view on that. But like, it's not a good thing, especially when he gets like Rashi. Like Rashi's a big disliker of Jesus. Saying that as an understatement. But you have even way later rabbis that are no fans of Jesus and basically blame Jesus for so many things happening to Jews throughout history because the church became very anti-Semitic for a while. But that's just nonsense. Rabbinically, it's nonsense. And then to only take some of what Jesus says and not take the other bits when he's claiming something so important is kind of dumb.
Yep. That is crazy. Let's go back to it.
Jews didn't accept Jesus as anything more than a gifted teacher and spinner of parables and a committed Jew.
And on the
And a sorcerer and a miracle worker.
No, they killed him for blasphemy. They didn't think he was just a gifted teacher and spinner of parables. They executed him for blasphemy.
For claiming to be God.
And admit in the Talmud they killed his students too. Like when you talk about like, where's the proof that the apostles were martyred? The Talmud, which would have every reason to say, no, we didn't do this, says they did it.
Well, it says Mattathias specifically, but the other two names are not correct, if I remember correctly.
Well, because they're trying to use like rabbinic homiletic interpretation, so they have to make up a name
right,
that fits what they're trying to say about it.
Yeah, this is Sanhedrin 43a.
Naki
Mattathias, Nakai, Nazir, Buni, and Toda.
Yeah.
And obviously only one of those is the true disciple, but still it's a true disciple of Jesus. And then all of the other ones that say, oh, well, why do these people have to die? And they give up, mostly just Psalms, but they give all these Psalms and then one passage of Exodus of like, yeah, this person has to die for that reason, that person has to die for that reason, but they're specifically killing the disciples of Jesus, according to the Talmud.
On the idea of things that are, morally, let's say that's the sort of historical case about who Jesus claimed to be, but also talking about his moral teaching.
This interview makes me think that Alex O'Connor is a grifting liar about his stance on things and what he believes in and what he's willing to accept.
And I got
He's
some
made other
parallels
videos
to draw
I
from
thought the same thing.
Gnosticism.
Ah, you're back.
Oh, hey.
You actually jump scared me for a second. I thought you were Christian.
He said
Christian
that Jesus
Gaspard's
was not
gonna-
accepted by the masses But then, well, there's plenty of false messiahs in Jewish history, like Shabtai Tzvi, swept, even a false messiah swept the Jewish masses up. And it's like, you just admitted that the Jews would accept a false messiah en masse.
Yep.
Isn't it's Gamliel, isn't it, that brings up in Acts when about there was this one person that led these, like, what does he say, 3,000 or something people out into the desert. And I mean, we had false messiahs even during the time of Jesus that
A bunch
were
of them. Yeah.
that were convicting to a lot of people. I mean, more than
Mhm.
just a few, and
And the
it's,
New
it's
Testament
actually,
has the Sanhedrin discuss it.
yeah,
During
yeah,
Acts, like Acts has like, oh well, there's been other false messiahs that whenever we killed them, their followers just dispersed. Why is this guy's
right,
followers
right,
not dispersing? They're actually
right,
becoming
right.
more belligerent about it. This is weird. And they're not
Yeah, he
trained people, they're
says,
fishermen. What's
if
happening?
it's from God, it'll then we'll learn our lesson. If it's not from God, it'll fizzle out like all the other ones did.
Yep.
And it didn't
And
fizzle
then
out.
it didn't fizzle out. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm gonna go
They
do
went
my
to the
own live
Gentiles.
stream real
Something
quick.
about enjoy. Yeah, it not only didn't fizzle out, it spread the knowledge of the God of Israel to the rest of the world. Per Rabbi Manuscript.
Yeah.
You say there are things that he said you didn't like.
Yes.
Especially given the fact that you say he's a committed Jew,
Right.
but here he is saying things that you don't like. What are some examples of the things that he did?
Abandon your father and mother to follow me. I think that's not a principle that I would adhere to. Or when he curses a tree.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some things about.
Well,
So
wait, what?
this is obviously where he curses the fig tree.
Right. Oh, that must
This-
be
so
your
this is-
thumbnail.
this is
where he's got
Emmanuel
the
Sh-
figs.
Yeah, this is Emmanuel Shochet talking point. He's a crazy man. He's cursing this tree for not bearing fruit when it's not even the season. So, number one, he's missing the point. And you'll see him miss it again later on. Jesus is God. When Jesus says, if you will abandon your father and mother to follow me, it's the same thing the God of the Old Testament would say, because Jesus is the God of the Old Testament.
Yep.
It's not about breaking the commandments. It's about if your parents will stop you from following the God of Israel, you will leave your parents and follow me. It doesn't mean you're going to disrespect them, dishonor them. It's just that you're going to follow me because I'm
I
God.
had to do
That's
that
what
with
Jesus
my
is saying.
dad. I had to do that with my own dad.
Check this out,
And-
Chris. We're going to go back a sec.
Especially given the fact that you say he's a committed Jew,
Right.
but here he is saying things that you don't like. What are some examples of
I
the
wanna hear
things
what
that
you
he
have
did?
to say.
Abandon your
he didn't
father
like?
and mother to follow me. I think that's not a principle that I would adhere to. Or when he curses a tree.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some things about Jesus that I would explain as a Christian the way I explain depredations in the Hebrew Bible, which
Well,
is
that's what
this
I
is
He talks about leaving your mother and father to follow him and cursing the tree. Like, these are things that are bad teachings of Jesus. He missed the point that Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. You would leave your father and your mother to follow him, right? As God told Abraham, for example.
And during the
Yeah,
Exodus, the
exactly.
Exodus is
Lech
literally them
lecha.
leaving the Egyptians and leaving family behind that were not willing to have their doorpost marked with the
But-
blood of the lamb. Like,
But even with the Lech Lecha, you get up from your countrymen, your father, your mother, and I mean it's an explicit. I mean, and that's huge. I mean, it's a whole Torah portion. Lech Lecha, get up and go. So
God tells
so
Abraham,
what is
leave the house of your father and come follow me. And Jesus
Yep.
says that to his disciples.
in the Torah,
And now
there's
the
a
fig
verse
tree-
in
Yeah, go ahead while I'm going to get some verses pulled up here.
Deuteronomy 20:19 through 20 talks about how you're not to destroy trees
Mhm.
whenever you're besieging a town. And it's like, good advice, because if you're going to go conquer a land, you want to inhabit it. Don't destroy the trees, especially fruit trees, because that's food. That's food. It's
Mhm.
material. You can build houses with it. Don't use it for siege works. don't destroy it. So I'm curious if he's using the prohibition, because Muslims do this too, and it's actually where they get it from. If he's using this prohibition against destroying trees to say Jesus is a bad teacher because he's cursing a tree and destroying it, even though it's a different context entirely.
Because he clearly doesn't keep Torah like
Right.
like an observant
they
Jew
still have,
would,
like,
and so
the,
to appeal to that would be
all to shit.
a big mistake, you know. But
Well, the
I,
rabbinic
you know, Chris,
position
I
is
think
the
So hold on,
I can
we're all
show-
familiar with the passage in the New Testament where Jesus goes to the fig tree. He sees leaves from afar,
Mhm.
and then he
Mhm.
goes to it. So the fact that it's out of season, but it's bearing leaves, it gives the appearance of the fact that it would have fruit. Right. So
Exactly.
the
As
tree
if
is
it's
being
Christian.
deceptive. It's saying, I have fruit, but it doesn't.
Correct.
And then Jesus
Correct.
comes and curses the tree for not bearing fruit for him.
Mhm.
Right. And then immediately Jesus goes to the temple and casts out all the nasty people from the temple. This is explicitly pointing to the Old Testament.
Mhm.
Yep.
Micah 7. The pious are vanished from the land. None upright left among its people. Not a ripe fig I could desire, not a cluster to eat. This is God speaking through a prophet in the Old Testament. These people are retarded.
Oh boy. This is I
Hosea
am astounded that
9:10.
it continues to get worse.
I found Israel as pleasing as grapes in the wilderness. Your ancestors seemed to me like the first fig to ripen on a fig tree. But when they came to Baal Peor, they turned aside to shamefulness and became as detested as they had been loved.
Mhm.
They were the
You mean the
figs
poop
on the
Bible?
tree, but now they're not.
Oy
It goes on, by the
vey.
way, through Jeremiah, through Isaiah, the language of the fig tree that doesn't bear fruit. This is a foreshadowing of Israel rebellious, denying their God. This is explicitly Jesus referring to himself as the God of Israel. What
Honestly,
a stupid
he's
thing to bring
making
up if you wanted to say that Jesus was just a wacky teacher.
he's actually making a like a proof case for how Jesus is the Messiah.
Yeah.
The divine. I mean, this is it's actually great what he did, but he clearly did not intend it to be that way. But I mean, this is great. These are great talking points. They're just completely against his perceived argument.
He's pointing to the fact that Jesus in the Gospel of Mark is referring to himself as the God of Israel in yet another chapter. The low Christology Gospel of Mark.
Yeah, right.
Right, which has the highest
Where Jesus
Christology
acts out.
statements.
Yeah, where Jesus acts out explicitly being the God of Israel. Thank you so much for your super chat. Thank you for all your knowledge and insight. My absolute pleasure. This guy is not only is he bad faith, he's also an idiot.
Yeah.
He's frankly an idiot, and this is a scholar among the, Reformed Jewish world.
He doesn't know the Tanakh very well.
No, obviously not.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason that Tuvia Singer, as far as I know, doesn't point to the fig tree example. Like, Emmanuel Shochet is like, well, let's polemicize things. If the Christians are always, let's put them on the defense. Let's show how crazy Jesus was. Right? Right? And he points out, it's just so stupid. It says, like a lamb led to the slaughter who didn't, say anything about it, right? Well, that's what Jesus did. He didn't defend himself, right? But he says, but then the one thing he was supposed to do, which was remain silent, he cries out on the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? He didn't keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fulfilling biblical prophecy.
Literally quoting
That's
Psalm
a
22.
stupid talking point that even Tuvia Singer, in all his ridiculousness, wouldn't use.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally quoting a prophecy about the crucifixion to point to the crucifixion for his audience so they can start replaying the psalm in their head.
And sheep don't talk, Chris. Sheep don't talk. So there you go. Must not be him.
Yeah.
So Dennis says, it's funny how since rabbinic Jews do not read the New Testament, it's impossible for them to not strawman. No, he's probably read the New Testament more than he's read the Tanakh.
I think so.
Probably.
You'd have to make
as an
these
academic
arguments.
thing.
Yeah, you would have to, because
You'd have
you
to have
simply
ignored the Tanakh.
right. You can't make these arguments if you knew the Tanakh. This is he's just burying himself. Every argument he's made so far is more against him than the previous one. And how much how much longer is this video? Does it get worse?
3 minutes.
It gets worse. It does.
Oh, okay. So,
It gets worse.
oh boy.
We're only 4 minutes in.
Oh my gosh. So there's
Of
still,
the 7-minute video. Yeah.
Wow.
It's an hour and a half interview about. Well, I haven't even watched the rest of what he talks about Judaism.
Wow.
Anyways.
This is an ancient person, and he has ideas of his time, just like they did 1,000 years before.
That's sort of what I was about to say, is that, like, you know, you can point to the character of Jesus and say that, you know, the fig tree didn't have any figs, and so he cursed it and it died. That's very strange and seemingly out of accord with the character of Jesus, or certain things that he says. You know, you'll be forgiven for.
What?
He's unaware too.
The Jesus that overturned tables and made a whip?
Mm-hmm.
But he
Called
curses
Pharisees
a
the
tree.
root of
That's
vipers.
very
People out of the
strange.
temple, threw over tables.
That's very
This is out of
strange that he
character.
would curse a tree.
And remember, this is the God of the Old Testament who also called Israel a bunch of whores and harlots, and brought plagues on people and wiped out his own people by the hands of their enemies. Like, how is this out of the character of the God of Israel?
He literally
Wow.
pointed a sword at David for a census and threatened to destroy everything. Like,
Let's I think we would all be comfortable in saying any Jew who's watching, this is not your guy. This is a Rabbi Shmuley with decorum. You don't want to be associated with these arguments. These are not good. There's plenty of arguments that I can understand from a Jewish perspective. None of these are those.
And this is frankly very disappointing to see from somebody who's supposedly as educated on this topic as Alex.
Yeah. And again, like I mentioned, like 20 years ago, I was watching this guy. So it's not like he's, just some grandpa they dug up and, like Sheikh Uthman when he went to debate the 20 Bible students and professors. This guy should know what he's talking about. And he seems to have absolutely no clue. So yeah, advice for any non-believing in Yeshua Jews: don't listen to this guy. He has no clue what he's talking about, and he will lead you astray. Wow.
Yeah, if you're a Jewish person listening to these arguments, this is very bad.
Yeah.
It's very, very bad. Yeah, let's keep going here.
For absolutely anything except blaspheming the Holy Spirit, that you'll never be forgiven. The tree didn't have any figs, and so he cursed it and it died. That's very strange and seemingly out of accord with the character of Jesus, or certain things that he says. You know, you'll be forgiven for absolutely anything except blaspheming the Holy Spirit. That you'll never be forgiven for. And it's sort of like, whoa, it sends a shiver down your spine.
Yeah,
But,
it does.
Somebody could just say, as you said,
He's saying, like, this is out of character of Jesus, saying, like, you could be forgiven for everything except blaspheming the Holy Spirit. How is that out of character for Jesus? He tells people, forgive your brothers as I have forgiven you. Like, you won't be forgiven if you don't forgive. He's telling people constantly, forgiveness, right? And he's saying you can be forgiven. You can be St. Paul, who murdered people and then come into faith and come to the Lord and be forgiven. Right? You can be all these people that rejected him at the cross and be forgiven. You can be all these different things and be forgiven. That is the message. That's not out of character. But blaspheming the Holy Spirit, the reason why that is because it would be attributing the works of God to demons. You'd be pointing to what God has actually wrought in the world and said, no, I don't believe in that. No, that's not the hand of God. Which is very consistent, again, with the message of God in the Old Testament. So not only is it consistent with the message of Jesus, it's consistently showing that Jesus is portraying himself as the God of Israel.
Yep.
Like, even if you don't think that it's true, even if you don't believe that, that's what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is explicitly showing himself as the God of Israel.
Yep.
He's acting the way the God of Israel acts throughout the Old Testament.
Consistently.
You might think that that's bad,
Right.
right? You might be
Well,
somebody who rejects Jesus and thinks that's bad, but that's what he's doing.
and
Hey,
I mean
P,
it.
nice to see you, man.
AP, you are
AP.
running from a powerful dawa. You have not responded to my X about live streaming together.
He's afraid of the Talmud.
He's afraid of the Talmudic dilemma and the power.
I think after we do this, we should also go to the next clip where he talks about the atrocities of the Old Testament. You'll see how just
Oh, I haven't
just
seen that at all.
wild and bad.
I
You're
can't
gonna
believe
laugh
that
at one of
this
the
is
arguments he makes for it.
this is so we're 4 minutes in, and there's three. So it's like a 7-minute clip. This is a
And it's this
7-minute
bad already.
clip, and it's. I mean, what have we been going for already? And over an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Well, because we're
this
pulling
is
up scripture to show
insane.
like the things that he's mocking, like these are Old Testament references, and he just didn't know. He's a rabbi,
Yeah.
right? Even if he's reform, he's
Right.
gone to a rabbinical school of some kind to learn the Torah, to learn the Tanakh, and he has no clue. He didn't realize
Mhm.
that the fig tree is a direct parallel to the Old Testament referencing Israel and the tree that doesn't bear fruit. He just didn't know. Anyways.
Elements
Yeah.
of the Hebrew Bible
But you,
earlier. Look,
Ash,
I
you
mean,
said.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You were
There you
saying
go.
that he seems to know the New Testament better than the Tanakh, which
Yeah,
is
probably academically has studied it quite a bit, so he can make polemical arguments, so he can say what he doesn't like
exactly
about it, right?
right.
There's a lot of them that do that, but they never actually look into the fact that there's what is it 1,500 direct references or something like that to Old
Yeah.
Testament
Oh, yeah.
prophecy,
Yeah.
or is it
Mhm.
even more than that?
I think it's more than that. There's over 300 fulfilled ones.
So, Junior seems like 115 IQ having guy compared to this.
Yeah. Please don't tell me he pulls out a banana and a monkey. I mean, I guess that would
Look,
probably
the
be
Jews
like
at the time, they ate mangoes and bananas.
Where are the cucumbers and the onions like we had
Jesus
in
said the
Egypt?
mustard seed is the smallest seed. I mean, obviously he was wrong.
Ah, wow.
Check Google said it's over 1,000, but doesn't give a number.
I heard it's somewhere between like 1,000 and 2,000 direct references to Old Testament prophecy.
There's more than that to
Wow.
allusions to the Old Testament, but to prophecy, it's.
I think
a
that's
little over
only also
1,000.
if you reference directly to the Hebrew. I think if you add the ones that reference the
Greek.
Septuagint, it's even more.
Mhm.
Right.
there are things that people try to record that they either got wrong or that he did. I mean, somebody could just say, as you said of elements of the Hebrew Bible earlier, look, I mean,
Right.
there are things that people try to record that they either got wrong or that he didn't actually say, and that's sort of going on in the New Testament canon
Who's
as well.
reform, he doesn't believe in the
I mean,
infallibility of the Old
that's
Testament.
if a Christian wants to make that argument, I have no problem with it. Look, I am a promoter of Christianity in general. That is, as the creator of the West, I think Christianity has given enormous benefits to the world.
What?
It's explicitly forbidden in Judaism to be a supporter and promoter of Christianity,
Yeah, it's avodah zarah. It's
which means either you're a liar and you're not a promoter of Christianity, or you're not observing anything Jewish.
mhm.
You can't promote Christianity if you theologically align with Judaism.
Right.
You can't. It doesn't work.
Cultural
You can
Christian
tolerate
Jew.
Christianity
Yeah,
if you
cultural
follow the
Christian
Ramah.
Jew.
You can tolerate Christianity if you follow the Ramah, who says that it's just like shituf, it's shirk, right? You
Mhm.
can, and that it's not forbidden for Gentiles, right? You can tolerate Christianity as a Jewish, like somebody who observes Judaism. You can't promote it,
Right.
not to Jews and not to Gentiles. Like he's in the same camp here as Shabbos Kestenbaum. Like, oh yeah, I wish more Christians would go to church. Oh, so you don't follow Jewish law? That's great, cool.
Right,
Thanks
right.
for letting us know that you don't actually have any theological stance that's legitimate.
But theologically, it doesn't. I remember when I was in 8th grade, we had I went to a Jewish day school, and they brought, to their credit, a Baptist preacher to tell us the theology of, and he told us that we were all going to hell. He said, look, you're nice boys and girls, but I want you to know that you have to accept Jesus too, which, okay. It was good for us to know that theology existed in the world. I don't think it did us any harm. But I remember saying to him, I thought I was going to try to catch him. So I said to him at the time, is Jesus perfect? And he said, yes. I said, is God perfect? And he said, yes. And I said, is the Holy Spirit perfect? And he said, yes. And I said, well, by definition, perfection doesn't need anything added to it. So 2 of the 3 of them are superfluous.
This is what I said. You're going to see it again. The mistake he makes, the category error. He doesn't understand or refuses to understand that the view of Christianity is that Jesus is God.
Yahweh.
That
Right.
Yahweh is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Yep.
This is not a superfluous, extra perfect being in addition to the other being.
Right.
Oh boy.
God is perfect
so
because he is the Trinity.
This is like
Yeah.
Dawa level stuff.
It's
I don't
like-
even think it's as strong as Dawa. This rabbi has weak Dawa.
He doesn't have the hikmah.
Oh, there has
He's
to
like
be
the
an
new
unmoved
wave Dawa
mover.
that's coming around.
There has to be one unmoved mover, but why is the Father the unmoved mover and the Son the unmoved mover and the Holy Spirit the unmoved mover? That's redundant. It's like, well, they're
Oh,
the
boy.
same entity. Like, it's the Father willing, the Son doing it, and the power of the Holy Spirit. Like, they're collectively the unmoved mover. It's just
It's one God.
it's
God.
one God. Yes.
You're gonna love it when he gets to the atrocities in the Old Testament. I'm just telling you, it's gonna be
Oh
great.
boy.
And I
You
still
didn't send that
find,
to me
like,
earlier, so I
I-
haven't seen that at all. I'm pretty excited.
I didn't. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I watched it afterwards, and I haven't had a chance to like go through it and like send it to you. But it's gonna be fun.
Oh, I'm
understand
excited.
that the contradiction is built into Christian theology. But for someone looking from the outside,
Just say it like that's what Christians believe, and then say the contradiction is built in. The contradiction that you just made up.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he either thinks that they're parts or separate things. Like he
Mhm.
doesn't get
Mhm.
that it's. He doesn't get that.
Partialism versus Trinity.
Yeah, he doesn't get that in Christianity, Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. It's not
Mhm.
Jesus and then God and then the Holy Spirit.
They're Yahweh.
it makes much more sense to have one unitary God than to have a Trinity. And so
No, it
I
doesn't.
don't have a problem thinking of Jesus as just a person. It fits with my
What did he say? I
theology
didn't
and
even
it fits
catch
with
that.
theology. But for someone looking from the outside, it makes much more sense to have one unitary God than to have a Trinity. And so I don't have a problem thinking of Jesus as just a person. It fits with my theology and it fits also with my philosophical approach to religion.
So Judaism has a lot in common with Islam in
that sense,
in that
yes,
respect,
very much
in its
so.
treatment of the figure of Jesus and the message of
He said it.
Christianity. I mean,
He said it,
I
not me.
think Islam will sees Jesus as a prophet and sees the Gospels as containing important information, just that they've been corrupted. Whereas Judaism would say he's sort
Man,
of
someone should write a book on
religiously irrelevant.
Judaism
He's
and
exactly
Islam
right,
being
exactly.
related.
Yeah, Judaism doesn't say that Jesus is just religiously irrelevant. Like that's not true, Alex.
Mm.
Like that's not what Judaism says. This is wild. Let
It
me get
really
that other
is.
video pulled up.
I should be
I
able to
guarantee
finish my
you-
book this year. For those wondering, hopefully it'll be done this year.
I guarantee you, for like anyone who's not even a Christian addressing this, but somebody Jewish watching their interview together would be like ripping their almost no hairs out.
There's plenty down here, Ash. There's plenty down here we could.
Where is this clip? Atrocities in the Old Testament. You're gonna love this. I think he has something on Job, but I'm not sure. Okay. He doesn't even try to defend like the theological. What are you talking about, Ben? I'm getting beard mogged.
Oh no,
That's not
Steven,
true.
he does have the longer beard. Granted, I haven't seen
I might-
Asher's in person.
I might be.
I have
I
seen
might be
Stevens in
beard mogged.
person. Yeah.
No,
Let me also
Ash is
just
Steven,
add
I
that
think, is a
Jack
bit taller than you too.
more substantial, I'd say. But I did just switch shampoos. So we'll see
Shampoo? You know what they say.
He's not a
Shampoo for your
purist.
real friends, real poo for your sham friend.
Speak of it. Oh wait, he doesn't have his camera up.
Speaking of
What
Jack,
was his thing?
Oh
I was so
boy,
laughing
now the
easily.
party's. Oh no, where'd he go?
I'm gonna bring him back up whenever he is his camera turned on. I guess I'll go ahead and pull him up.
I was getting tired of the jacket.
There he is.
You
There
missed
we
some
go.
wild stuff, man.
Oh.
The
Hey, is he
clapping knees
faking
are
like
from
me?
Monday's stream.
Are you messing with us like
Trying to
Steven was
make-
messing with us?
Trying to
does your
make him
audio not
feel
work?
not so.
Oh, just
left
wrong
out.
mic. Wrong mic. Switch your mics. No, he has like 3 mic inputs and just doesn't go to the right one. There it goes.
There we go.
Blah blah blee blee blue blue.
That's Hebrew. That's Hebrew, Ash. You'd know if you weren't such a
I wasn't a fake Jew.
gentilizing Catholic. You'd remember.
You
had
were
a-
a real Jew.
I had another one telling me today. I went and I searched Ash Mays and I looked and he hasn't been to any yeshiva or Jewish community. He's a liar. I'm like, I found out through this conversation that he's also not Jewish and wouldn't know anyways. But he's a
Is there
no.
like an online
But-
registry? How would he know?
But there's like, I'm like, if are you a Nazi? Do you keep track of all the Jews and where they are at all times?
Show me your papers. Show me your papers.
I did a.
Oh, because I'm trying to do it.
Easter
That's why.
egg- I did an Easter egg hunt. with
Well,
some
it's a good stream
Lutherans.
with Gadfly on.
Yeah.
Does that mean that usually it's a bad stream because Gadfly's on, but now it's a good stream? Or are you saying that now this stream has become good because Gadfly's on?
It's gonna get a little weird. That's what it means. I did an Easter egg
Yeah.
hunt
Oh,
with
wow.
Lutherans, and they're all German, and it was like way too organized. And it was kind of creeping me out. It was like, we have this sector over here for the green eggs. It's like you don't need sectors for your eggs.
You don't need to color code categorize
Yeah, like
where the
age-
eggs are in a document.
Yeah, Oregon.
Which brings me back to my
Sure.
previous comment about Nazis.
I'm Irish. You're supposed to buy the candy at the last second and just kind of throw it all together and throw it out there.
Chug a bottle of whiskey and then let the kids, go about their business. That's what you were gonna say, right? I
Dude,
thought that's
so-
what you were gonna say.
So you know
My
the
Monday
joke-
stream.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say my Monday stream. We had Mary Arb join us impromptu while we were streaming, and then we just did like an hour and a half of just the most depraved stuff within the Islamic sources.
Yeah, which is right when I'm trying to be monetized. So thank you guys.
Can you
Right,
rephrase that
when
as
you're
we
trying to be
covered?
monetized.
Can you rephrase that as we covered some of the most depraved stuff? Not we did some of the
Speaking of
most
which-
depraved stuff from the Quran.
Yes.
we went through some of the most depraved stuff.
Yeah, we had the
that
stream and we did some
appears
of the
in-
most depraved stuff that appears in the Quran.
Chris, where's your zit coffee?
it's on OnlyFans.
Perfect timing to do a plug.
Oh yes.
Oh gosh, plug.
I do have
Poor choice of
the
words.
Zit coffee.
That's good. coffee.
It's strong, dark, and gives you the strength of 30 men. Yes. You too. And it's from the land of the raisin heads because the Ethiopian. So
Oh yeah, and I gotta get
Get
Christian.
yours
I gotta
tonight.
get you your order of 4. I was ill earlier this week, so I was not. My work attendance was poor, but I'll get back on that and make sure to get you a resupply.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not a German running an egg hunt. You can take your time.
So how many Germans does it take to change a light bulb? Only one. They are very efficient and not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Gadfly, we covered the one where they were talking. The Reform rabbi was telling Alex O'Connor about his views on Jesus, and he said stuff like, "Yeah, why wasn't he? He was basically irrelevant. Like he only had 12 disciples, and
Did y'all talk
You know-
about righteous remnant being a major theme throughout the entire Bible?
Kind of, not directly, but the fact that the
Okay.
Jews would reject their Messiah is explicitly Old Testament. But also, he was then pointing. He's like, yeah, I mean, there was tons of false messiahs, and then he brings up Shabtai Tzvi, who was accepted by like 65% of the Jewish world.
Yeah, talk about just stepping on a rake. And then you
Yeah.
talked about how over and over
Oh, that's the whole-
Gentiles being integrated into the kingdom. And it's
Yeah.
like,
But then him and Alex O'Connor, of all people who's supposedly educated, goes like, yeah, and all this behavior out of character of Jesus, like about the fig tree. But first, the rabbi goes, yeah, there's things I don't agree with about Jesus, like, follow me and not your parents, like leave your mother and father, like it's like that's what God told Abraham to do, and Jesus is God.
yeah.
How is that out of character if Jesus is claiming to be God? Right. And the fig tree example, like, oh, he did this crazy thing. He yelled at a fig tree and like angry at the fig tree for not bearing fruit. So we pulled up Micah 7 and Hosea 9, talking about Israel as the fig tree that's not bearing fruit. And then Jesus goes into the temple and casts out all the people who are fake Jews, essentially.
Yeah, which is totally related to what he just did with the fig tree.
Yes.
It's like he's doing
I think they call it the Mark sandwich. It's like the before and after, and then the fig tree in the middle of the lesson being addressed on both ends.
And the guy's just like, he's so mean to kill a tree like that. It's like, do you not get the point at all?
Right. Yep.
He's saying you need to bear fruit. He didn't really care about this tree.
Right.
This is like it was in spring anyway, and the figs don't fruit yet. They fruit in the summer.
This one here.
They
Christianity contradicts Judaism. According to Judaism, Jesus is not the Messiah. I don't believe in Christianity, therefore I don't believe Jesus is the Messiah. What is wrong with you? Think, use your brain. Use your brain. No, no, we're saying the Jews do believe that Jesus is the Messiah. What? Come on, man.
That takes
Anyways,
hard
this is
thinking.
the addressing atrocities in the Old Testament. Alex O'Connor asking the Reform rabbi.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Oh boy.
I'm excited.
When I look in the Hebrew Bible and I see some of the stories of what this nation got up to, I said that I wanted to talk about some of these stories. I've been speaking a lot recently to Christians about some of the Old Testament atrocities, is the label that would often be.
I've been preaching to Christians, even though I don't have any standard of what morality ought to be anyways.
Be put on them. And for them, it's easy enough for them to sort of say, well, Jesus is kind of a part two, and it sort of undoes it, and we have a very special relationship with these stories. But
that's not what Christians say.
Mm-mm.
Christians don't say God of Old Testament evil bad guy and Jesus good guy that corrects it.
Well, I guess to be fair,
that's Gnostics.
I hear that a lot. Being the slippery Judaizer that I am, I mean, I would say for sure Christianity as a thing doesn't teach that, but I have encountered a lot of self-proclaimed Christians that do think that. They legitimately do, because they have a trouble squaring the Old Testament with the New. Just I would say, because of it's like a fluency issue. But I do hear that a lot. So I think he's probably telling the truth there. It's just, but from an actual, like, from Christianity's perspective, that's not Christianity's position. But a lot of Christians do say that, unfortunately.
It's actually a formal heresy called Macronism.
Mm. No, Marcionism? Or am I thinking
whatever. Marcionium.
I think Macronism sounds like an Italian bakery in Brooklyn.
Gadfly just got swatted off the live. There he is.
He's been swatted.
Can you hear me?
Anyways, Alex should know that this is not how, like, after the 15th or 16th conversation he's had with Christians that he's said himself, he just had a lot of these conversations. Why does he think that this is the Christian answer? Like, oh, Old Testament is kind of bad and Jesus fixes it. Like, that's not what Christians say at all. We accept that there's the problem of evil and we address it correctly with Jesus being the God of the Old Testament, with no division and no mistaking the identity there.
I think you'll have to answer differently, which is why I'm interested to ask you about these things. So, God has this chosen people and he promises them a land, and that land is occupied. Already there are people living there. And so God sends his people to occupy this land, and when the people refuse to give it to them, they end up getting slaughtered. Men, women, children. I'm talking about the Canaanites, of course. You have these stories of the Amalekites, you have the stories of the Midianites, and Moses or his successors and their armies are commanded to march up to this land and told in no uncertain terms to kill men, women, children, animals. You know, in Samuel, we have the story of this instruction to slaughter animals, and
You notice he's very British about this. Goes on the long tangent to like really playing it up before he gets to the point.
when
It's
they
kind of
keep
nice.
the king and some of the animals alive, God says to Samuel, "I regret that I ever made Saul king because he didn't follow my instructions." It's like he gets punished for not killing all of the animals. Now, this idea of a sort of chosen people with a special duty that people can sort of come along and say, "Yeah, I like what you're doing. I want to get on board." That seems pretty fine. But this idea that I'm reading in this text, there's a chosen people with their promised land, and if you're not okay with that, then you're going to get killed. That seems a little bit more.
Yeah.
I have a huge problem with this because he's doing, you know, the typical far be it from me to use you know, kind of watered down words now with, but like he's being a Nazi. This chosen people thing, God did the same thing to Israel when they acted the same way as
Right.
the people that they overthrew. So chosen doesn't mean what he's kind of painting the picture. God has these special people and they're cool.
They can do whatever
and
they
gotta
want, and they can
they
kill
can do
everyone
whatever
else.
they want and go do all the and also though no one else can, but they can go and so they have to go. That's not what God does. That's not God. Even specifically points out, I chose you specifically because you were small and not uh you were not the type of thing that would be this big grandiose thing. Chosen is not, they're chosen for a task. They're not chosen because they get free reign to do whatever they want. But that's how he's presenting it. God chose the specific people, sends them in to do these what he labels atrocities, which I mean, you know, the acts in themselves are atrocious, but the people that they were displacing were doing much more atrocious things than.
Well, I've also heard the argument that the high priest of God, right, at the time of Abraham is Melchizedek,
Mhm.
right? And they have like this thing going where this is true and correct worship of the one true God. What happens to those people? Because they're not there when the Jews come from the desert. The
Mhm.
Israelites come from the desert into Israel,
That's fascinating.
right? So the idea is that they've been wiped out by these vicious child sacrificing pagans.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it was just recently uncovered, you know, because Israel, it's dodgy where you can do archaeology and things. But they dug up this ancient pagan place where they found like thousands of baby bones around altars, just thousands of
Yeah.
them. And I mean, even as depraved as we've gotten today, you look back at these statues they would have where they'd heat up the ball, the iron ball bull-headed thing, then you'd put your baby on it. And even where they found masks where, because the parents would obviously be upset, but they would have the parents wear
Right.
these terrifying masks with big grins on them while they're delivering their babies up to, I mean, just despicable, horrible things.
Yeah.
And
Evil.
so
Yeah.
would he, I mean, I guess he would
Would
consider
these
that
people reject their
atrocious.
God if he came on earth and came to save them? Would these wonderful people reject their Messiah if he really came? No. These are fantastic people.
But again, when he's, I guess that was my original annoyance was with when he's making the claim of these chosen people. The whole Bible is the record of God dealing with Israel because they acted so debased. They were chosen to take the God to be God's like conduit to the world. And they repeatedly failed over and over, and then God had to deal with them the exact same way that he dealt with the people before them. And so this idea went the word chosen gets so abused, and just not it's not what's the word, it's not honest when you use it that way. The chosen doesn't mean the way he's presenting it, and it's just kind of gross. And that's how we get like Nazis, because they think that the Jews
Stephen
view
is victim
themselves.
blaming. Victim blaming.
So I've ranted enough. Anyway,
Well, technically, Alex isn't Jewish and he's British, so that would be the British and the Nazis teaming up against the Jews. But
yeah,
neither here nor there.
which I've experienced in my own personal life. I've been to England twice. They're weird over there. They're nice, and I'm a bit of an Anglophile, not in like the Muhammad sense of file, but I like English things. But I've experienced a lot of weird English anti-Semitism. Strange.
As a non-Jew, which is really funny.
Yeah.
It's crazy the sheer amount of anti-Semitism you've gotten.
Yeah. Well, that's my point, I'm not I might have a spicy little touch of Jew in me. Less than I was told by my family, but also maybe more that I haven't figured out yet. But you put on some tzitzit and you have a beard, and I mean, I got yelled at when my dad was dying in the hospital. We went outside to like get some fresh air, and someone just drove by and said, "Get out of here, you dirty Jew." And it was like, what? I'm in a hospital. Like,
Wait
what's,
a second.
and again, they could just be, troublemakers, that they don't actually think that or whatever. But I mean, there was enough.
Did you turn to him and say, slippery Judaizer?
Yeah. Watch your mouth, sir. So I've talked long enough. I'm gonna go attend to this other live stream. It's really important. Wait, where's Christian Gadfly's bookcases now subbing in for him? Usually I rely
He
on
had
him
a
to take.
rebellious 2-year-old to deal with.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
had a baby.
Well, I'll be back, friends. I'll be back.
Yep.
Speaking of which, I muted Christian Gadfly manually. So if he
Okay.
tries to talk whenever he gets back, it's because I muted him.
Let's do this. The Bible contains history. History was brutal. Canaanites, Amalekites, Philistines, etc. were even more brutal. It's fallen world. Get over it. So if you're pointing to this, the fact that God had justification for why he sent the Israelites to do what they did, that's one thing. But I wouldn't only point to the fact like, hey, history was brutal, because these are divine injunctions. We can't just say, hey, the Israelites did this, because we're not justifying the Israelites here. We're justifying God when we try to do
God's
this.
command for the Israelites. Right. Yeah. You can't say that God has moral relativism to the time. Right. That's not God. His morality can't change. Otherwise you have like a Greek God, and the Greek gods are impossible in reality. At least they make no logical sense the more you study it.
Orthodoxy is cool, who was formerly Catholicism was cool, is saying, yep, I'm becoming a preacher, millennial dispensationalist. Oh, well. Yeah, somebody says, I knew it, Alex O'Connor is Islam, he is not atheist, guys.
He's a Muslim, he's doing taqiyya.
Yeah, I mean,
I
don't know that that's true, because right now he's promoting Reform Judaism as making sense. Judaism that doesn't believe that God is actually real, that the Bible is infallible, for example. But this is a scholar in the Jewish world. Even Orthodox Jews would say, well, we don't believe in like what he believes in theologically, but the guy must be a scholar, defend the other Jew, even if he's... So it should be said, by the way, for anyone watching, this rabbi has been accused of being overly liberal and so on, for like being one of the rabbis that started pushing like same-sex marriages and stuff like that. So just to give a little bit of context of what we're dealing with.
Is Reform Judaism basically like kugel flavored atheism?
Yes. Matzo ball, more like matzo ball, because they Reform Jews know matzo balls more than they know kugel. Why are you Christians trying to defend the Old Testament? Just say the Old Testament is corrupted and move on. I think this is a joke.
I think it's a joke too because he has like a little Jesus on his hoodie.
Yeah, I
AI.
think he's a regular.
Yeah. But obviously, we believe,
Look,
we
the pastor's
trust,
name
we,
is Hagee.
we
He opened
love
up
the
my
Old
eyes. What a troll.
Bit more raw to me. I wondered how you interpret
So,
that.
well-
Pretty fine, but this idea that I'm reading in this text, there's a chosen people with their promised land, and if you're not okay with that, then you're going to get killed. That seems a little bit more raw to me. I wondered how you interpret that part. Chosen
I want to
people
wait for Gadfly. He's going to sit down.
I'll unmute him.
with their promised land, and if you're not okay with that, then you're going to get killed. That seems a little bit more raw to me. I wondered how you interpret that part of the chosen people
There
story.
there are multiple really interesting and important questions here. One is, let's start first with the difference between Christianity and Judaism.
Sure.
The reason that Christianity is not, the New Testament does not have stories like that is precisely because it was born in the Roman Empire. So
Wait. So he's just entirely dropping the historical aspect of it and saying that it's all just like figurative metaphor? And
No, he's saying it's legitimate, but it's okay. Keep going here because he's going to explain a little bit further.
does not have stories like that is precisely because it was born in the Roman Empire. So there were no wars, there was no contention, there was no civil legislation. It's one of the reasons why Christianity is such an internal.
What? There were no wars at the time of the Roman Empire?
What about 70 AD?
What about like 40 years later?
Yeah.
And then 100 years after that? Where the Romans wiped out Judea and crucified thousands of people. What are you talking about? And that the Zealots were trying to kill the Romans, and that there was massive Jewish revolts, and the Romans were going around and killing Gauls and all kinds of other stuff in the empire at the time.
Well, and he ignores
what no wars is this? This is a scholar? This is an intellectual?
He ignores any kind of new covenant, and then also he just makes it seem like the only reason Jews weren't violent was because they had a sword to their throat the whole time.
right.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not making your position look any better, buddy.
The Romans were famously against all wars.
Yeah, right.
The Romans abolished war. This is the proof.
Which, to be fair, that is there was a very, 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 very short period of time of relative peace within the Roman Empire, right whenever Christianity was spreading, because they built the roads out to conquer all the people. It's because of war. They built roads to make war easier.
That's because they finished a huge, massive, bloody civil war. That's why. It's because the one side
so you have
absolutely massacred the other side, and then we have peace now. Yeah, in the same way, when two brothers are fighting and one kills the other, there's peace.
Yeah. So like 600 years of massive war from a variety of empires up until this point in time. There's like 20 years of peace and then wars again. And then the 20 years of peace, they spread to all of the Greek nations, and that's how Christianity flourished so hard. So maybe he's thinking about that to be like, is
he forgetting that the Jewish conception of the Messiah around the time was in part that the Messiah would come and lead a war against the Romans?
To conquer them.
What's the Dead Sea Scrolls call them again? They're like the Kittim or something. But the Romans are like the armies of Satan, and they're supposed to be wiped out.
And he says there was peace between Cain and Abel.
Yeah. That was the Roman peace. And then even then, during the Pax Romana, Augustus lost I can't remember how many legions. I'll have to look it up. Bookmark that. Pause it. Everyone may continue.
I mean, that's likely what he's speaking of, but it's not nearly as perfectly peaceful.
You create such an internal.
When is the Pax Romana, though?
30 BC to like 180, 280. It's like a short, 200
during
years
that time of the Bar Kokhba revolt. During that time,
right? Yeah.
During Pax Romana, he
He
lost
literally
3
had the destruction of
legions
the temple.
at the Battle of Teutoburg Forest in 9 AD. These legions were annihilated by Germanic tribes led by Arminius under the command of General Varus. There you go. That's your Pax Romana. During the early Pax Romana, 3 legions are wiped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's relative peace only because of how violent the Roman Empire history was. So like relative peace for them is like massive war to us today. Like it's like saying, oh well, Israel's and
hold on a second.
Palestine have been
Ash
relatively
Mays claims to have
peaceful
been
for the
Orthodox
last
Jew, yet no
3
yeshiva
years.
community knows who he is. He blocks anyone who asks. Yes, because you're lying. I've had people who know me from my community talk about their time with me online, threatening me, calling me out, trying to dox me and my family.
Isn't that dumb how people do that on the internet? It was just so easy to do. Oh, you didn't really do that. Like I had a post on Twitter where I was talking about how I did a mission trip in El Salvador, and someone was like, "You didn't really do that." I'm like, "Okay, here's a video, and there's a picture from the trip in the video." But even then, I know that they could just throw it out if they wanted, because people on the internet could just not even believe Jesus exists, you know?
Right. So
I
this is
muted
actually a
said
really
person
good
for 24
comparison.
hours.
So Pax Americana, because it's not an American, Pax Americana would be like post World War II. Or up until World War II, every like 20, 30 years, we had massive wars. And then after World War II, we've only really had Korea, Vietnam, and then the Gulf stuff, like all the
Right.
crazy stuff in the Middle
Peace.
East. It's relatively peaceful, but it's still like every generation has fought a war for Americans. The Romans were like not just one front, but like 30 fronts, conquering most of the known world for centuries. And
Well,
they had relative peace.
It's the ultimate ignoring the most obvious contributing factor here by not talking about Jesus's teaching. You're going to talk about how it's this peaceful movement because Rome was so powerful, and you don't even mention the Sermon on the Mount. I don't know. Not all the messiahs taught like Jesus did. Not all of them were as peaceful as Jesus was. Obviously, there was something about this particular movement that involved more than just Rome being powerful for them to be peaceful, because Rome was powerful during the Bar Kokhba revolt, but that didn't make them peaceful.
Yeah, and they try to catch Jesus in like rebelling against Caesar, and he's like, "Oh, render to Caesar what is Caesar's," right? AP says Ash left her religion but can't stop talking about it. Who does that? It's funny he called me out because I was asking him like a bunch of like what do you call it, between two ferns kind of questions and stuff like that. I was like,
I
so
love
you
that
made
show.
so you made a career for yourself out of being an apostate, and he goes, so did you.
I laughed so hard at that in my kitchen while I was cooking. Like I had to stop cooking because I was laughing so hard at his comment for that.
Like, not exactly. Not exactly. Yeah, that was funny. Anyways, let's see what this scholar has to say.
Religion is because if you create a religion in the desert, like Moses or like Muhammad, then your civil legislation and your religious legislation are one. They're the same. There's no separation between church and state because you're creating a religious civilization. Christianity was
Theocracy.
spared that phase of history, and as a result, Christians didn't have civil legislation as part of Jesus's legislation because obviously the Roman Empire took care of all of that. They didn't have a
What?
That's
There's so
not
much in the
true.
New
This is how he's
Testament that's
answering
civil.
the atrocities in the Old Testament. Like, that's because this happens in desert civilizations with their... It wouldn't happen in the... He basically said that there was no wars in the Roman Empire. Where, like, even during the Pax Romana, there was, like, legions being wiped out, and they were, like, the Bar Kokhba revolt and the destruction
Yeah.
of the temple. It's like, bro, what are you talking about? How can you get on here and pretend to do this in good faith? And I don't even mean this just about him, with Alex. How can you not call him out? It's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
During that time period, there was no wars that the Jews could have been part of with the Roman Empire. What an insane comment.
I had to leave to deal
What
with a
about
baby. Who brought up Christianity? Was it Alex, or did this guy just start talking about it?
Alex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Alex
Alex brought
asked
up
the
the Old
question.
Testament atrocities.
Yeah.
And he,
dude,
but hold on, Alex says, well, Christians can kind of, their answer is always just to wave this away because like Jesus came and fixed all the atrocities of the Old Testament. It's like,
Oh, okay.
what? That's not the claim of Christianity.
Yeah, but he introduced
The claim of Christianity
I
is that
thought this
Jesus
guy
is the
was
God of the
talking
Old
about it.
Testament.
Okay.
Yeah.
Land that they wanted to conquer or not conquer, although clearly the revolts against Rome were at least in part some of the toxicity.
Oh, yeah. He means the city of Rome, except for all the slave revolts where they crucified so many slaves that they could put them along the Appian Way from one end of the country to the other.
Yep.
Like the
The
peaceful
highway
Roman
was
times.
literally just crosses. But also the Christian persecutions themselves. Like
Right.
Christianity just took on the Roman law. It's like, well, first off, we created our own canon. We created our own legal system. We created our own governmental structure. We did all of that under heavy persecution, so much so that at Nicaea, there were several of the bishops and leaders that had like arms and legs missing because they were
Most
cut
of
off by
them
Romans.
were mutilated.
Yeah. And it's like, what are you on about?
that you see in the New Testament towards Jews were about the revolts against Rome and the anger against Rome. But in the Hebrew Bible, you have an ancient people and a chronicle of what probably happened over and over and over and over and over again with virtually every ancient people. I don't think the story of the Israelites is unique, except that they survived for thousands.
What?
Did you just hear the rabbi say that the story of the Israelites is not unique in this sense? About
What?
conquering the land, taking over the promised land from the nations that are there. This is not a unique story at all, Stephen.
Well, and this ties back to what he was saying earlier, because like they aren't just selected and elected in order to wipe out the Canaanites. God's going to bless the world through this people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all tied into, a future covenant and eschatology and Gentiles being ushered into the covenant, which,
I mean, all the way, Christian, all the way back to Genesis. All the way back to Genesis.
If I was a Jew, I think it should give me a faith crisis that the whole world is worshiping my God because of this Messiah who's supposedly fake. That's bizarre. Like if you read like an Amos or the Psalms and all the nations will come and worship our God. What do you think it's talking about? And I was sitting in a Bible study and across from me was someone with Mayan ancestry and I had Irish ancestry. It's like, dude, both of our ancestors were hacking people open and just like throwing the blood everywhere,
wearing their skin,
throwing the bodies into a bog. Yours were throwing them down a pyramid. What happened? Why are we even talking about a Jewish God? Like this tiny little group of people in this tiny little place way far away. And we're worshiping this God together because of this Messiah. And that wouldn't give a Jew just pause even. This guy acts like it's just...
I mean, even Orthodox rabbis like Manis Friedman point that out. Yeah, Christianity, we did disagree on the details, but it's the same God. It's the same basic concept, right? Christianity spread this to the world, right?
Yeah, and you have to go...
Like, doesn't that tell you something if you know the prophecies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like,
also,
the Gentiles accepted him, and only a small remnant of the Jews. It's like, that's like those are 12, all
just 12 of them.
Yeah. Well,
I think this rabbi calls for
is
a
it about
klezmer
100
stinger
at the beginning of Acts? Something like that.
Yeah, well, and also Christian, you weren't here for it, but Alex O'Connor goes, and Paul suggests that there were 500 or so people.
It's like he's saying we can't believe he's the Messiah because all of the indicators the Bible tells us to look for are happening. It's like,
no, but you don't get it. He was relatively ineffectual. That's what he said earlier in the...
There's like people all over the world worshiping him, but he's ineffectual. Okay. Maybe when it's your turn, you can do it better than Jesus did, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the other crazy aspects to this of the whole, everyone else was also doing this claim. They literally didn't do war like any other community that has ever done war in history. They burned all of the supplies because they were commanded to by God. They destroyed food. They destroyed animals. They destroyed women and children that you could reproduce with. They destroyed everything in order to not be supplied by man by conquest, but to be supplied by God with the land that he was giving them. They did things that no army would have ever done, which actually the evidence for Jericho is that they, like we, in the burn layer of the destruction layer of Jericho, where the walls fell, we actually have the granary and the clay pots still that got burnt. So we know that they actually burnt the ground, like they burnt everything, including the food. And that would not be done. Then you also have obviously the stones from heaven destroying them. In Joshua 10, you have like the sun standing still so that they can continue. Like there's all these miracles that are associated with it. But even the warfare itself, the way that they did it was unique. There's not a single thing about it that is similar to any other group.
And on that
Well, and
same
also with
idea,
commandments of not, like you brought up, not to burn trees and things, you know, the scorched earth kind of campaign. Certain times God would say this particular place, you know, everything has to be eradicated. But generally, the warfare was different than that. Like there's commandments against destroying the actual earth of the area. But there were certain places that said, yeah, do this. What was I reading earlier about? There was a certain thing where you destroy the city. Oh no, it was a certain people that rebelled, and they stoned them, and then they burnt their houses in fire, and left the stone heaps on it. So it was that's why I kind of think like already his framing it. I mean, I guess I understand it. His framing it as atrocities, Old Testament atrocities, but that also is it's robbing the idea that God is, whatever God does is moral, and we look to God for morality. So God isn't capable of committing an atrocity.
Right.
So it gets a little bit wacky. There's a lot of like conflation going on, I feel like.
well, that speaks to Israel's uniqueness. So if you read like the Iliad and the Odyssey, the gods aren't necessarily in any way directly connected to morality. And the wars aren't because God decrees that, it's a woman or we want property. And so this is totally unique. It's totally
Yeah.
different because it's tied with what is good and evil. And then we're going to do what God says.
Yeah, I mean, people don't put two and two together
Helen
here
was
and
hot.
go, they moved from this area to Egypt. They're enslaved in Egypt. God promises to redeem them. Egypt is very fertile in that area.
Mhm.
Why not have them conquer Egypt?
Right.
They're oppressors who enslave
Uh-huh.
them and take the land without
Yep.
traveling, for 40 years in the desert.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that? Do you think Alex O'Connor sometimes entertains idiots like these just because he has to make rent? Probably. Probably.
He's
Thousands of
a
years.
very intelligent guy.
but I
Oops,
think that-
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna. He's a very intelligent guy, obviously. So
I don't know about
you're
that.
kind of left in
Honestly,
a.
at this point.
That's what I'm saying. You're kind of left, between two ferns. One fern is that he's very intelligent and what's going on here, and the other is, oh, he needs some views to make rent. All of a sudden, I just realized, Ash, your super cool dragon shirt is gone.
Yeah, I switched it before because it was getting a little bit hot. It's made of silk.
Oh, okay. Well, it's supposed to
Sad
keep
I
you
missed
cool when it's hot.
I don't know.
So this whole
Probably silk
time,
with a
the
polyester
antecedent of
lining.
you were talking
Yeah.
about so Connor being
Shatnez.
this guy, right, Steven? Or this guy?
What'd you
Which
say,
one
Christian?
about you're wondering if he's dumb? Are you talking about Alex O'Connor or his guest?
Oh no, his
Alex
guest.
O'Connor.
His guest is
His guest
what I
is
expect
not
from a reform Jew. Alex
Mhm.
O'Connor is who I was talking about.
Okay.
I don't think the story of the Israelites is unique, except that they survived for thousands and thousands of years. But I think that that's how, and by the way, if you look in the book of Joshua, the actual conquest of the land is a much more assimilative process than it is actual conquering of the land. So
What?
it's almost like
What now?
What? What? The
To
assimilation
clear
was
the
where they
land of all
erred.
those in it is assimilative.
Yeah. And when we hear about like certain who was it that tricked them? Was it where was it
Balaam?
that
The Moabites?
no,
Or who you're
I'm
talking about?
thinking of there
Oh,
was
the
a certain
tribe that
people.
asked for their protection during the
Yes.
judges time period. It's like
Yeah.
Judges 8 or
Okay, so yeah,
9.
I
They're
guess
like,
to be
hey,
fair,
they're
he's talking about
they're the
Joshua. So
neighbors.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
was
the
it the
neighbors
Gideonites?
of
Is
the
that
Israelites.
or
No, it
or
was they were right next door. They're like, oh well, we're like super far away from you guys, but we're worried, so let's make a pact deal. Then like turned out they're like
right,
5 feet away. And they're like, why
right,
did you lie
right.
to us? Because like
Yeah,
you were gonna kill us all. So well, why wouldn't we do this? Then
and
they
they honored the
became the
agreement.
slaves kind
Right,
of
right.
Israel for then onward. They like had to do all of their like laundry and like
Yeah, yeah.
specific things for it.
So I guess to be fair to his
Gibeonites.
claim, he was talking about Joshua's time period, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same. It's still the same ongoing thing, though. So I don't know. This guy again, for any Jews that are
Well, no, the
watching,
promise ahead of time, long before Joshua at the time of Moses,
Gibeonites.
is that they're going to wipe out. It's going to be this great thing that God is going to assist them in wiping out all the people of the land.
Yeah,
Not, yeah, it's not just afterwards. It's predicted, right? It's the plan.
right, right.
The rhetoric is much more martial than the reality.
You don't
But I
say.
think that this is precisely because that was how. Look, I'm not someone who thinks that God wrote every word of the Bible, and I think that this is exactly how ancient Israelites interpreted their own mandate. Was
Samuel? Would Samuel agree with you? What is he talking about?
Why be a reformed Jew then?
Ah,
Why have any Jewish identity at all?
Yeah,
right.
because
Why
there's
tie
nothing
yourself to
unique
that in
about
any
them.
capacity?
There's
There's
nothing unique
about them
them.
except
Yeah,
that they happen to survive.
there's nothing special about
Um,
their book.
there's no
Right.
reason to think anything in the book is true.
They don't have a unique God.
But here I'm going to
apparently.
sit here and like give my opinions on Christianity and whether or not it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. This just reminds
Oh
me of
boy.
atheists on the
It is.
internet.
Secular
It's just
human.
this is just a Jewish flavored atheist.
Yeah.
It's
Kugel
Kugel
or
flavored
matzo ball
atheism.
flavored.
Matzo ball flavored. Well, I have to point out
Wow.
this guy is really not representative of Jewish orthodoxy in any capacity. He's a pro LGBTQ, ADL, social justice, reform rabbi who doesn't believe the Bible is inspired by God.
I think he's going to be
he's not-
surprised whenever he dies and God's actually real. Oh, wait, what?
Yep.
Oh, I guess you were real. Yeah. That's crazy. Man. What a twist.
Ugh.
He's going to try to argue.
Yep.
just like the tribes around them who conquered land one from the other, they conquered as well, and you could either join them or not join them and have a war, just as all subsequent attempts to destroy them were men, women, children. That was the way,
I've only seen up to
unfortunately,
this point, so
war
there could be
worked,
more wild
often in
stuff
the
coming.
ancient world and sometimes in the modern.
But when we think of this nation of Israel as God's chosen people, with direct access to the commands of the moral author of the universe, when people say,
Who's the we? Am I included in that?
well,
we?
not
Right.
not you, not me, but the
Well, the reason I say that,
when people say,
who's the we? Am I included in that?
well,
we?
not
What do you say?
I'm not even catching whatever he caught, but it seems like there's a
with
bit of
direct
contention here.
access to the commands of the moral author of the universe. When people say,
Who's the we? Am I
Is he
included
saying-
in that?
well,
we?
no, not
Right.
you,
Having
not-
direct access?
Is he
Right.
saying that the Jews don't have access to scripture or God?
Or denying
that's-
that you
Like,
believe
wait,
that?
is he saying specifically that the Jews of Joshua did not have access to Yahweh?
or at least didn't believe that they had access to Yahweh. You know, you could at least.
I think that's what he's claiming.
He's
And is he rejecting that notion?
I think that's what he.
Because in
We'll have to
Deuteronomy, when it
explain,
says like, when Moses says like, and the people around you will say, who is this people that has such a knowledge of is so close to their God that has these wise commandments?
Don't you wish you could just be
I
like,
didn't-
do you believe you're part of the chosen people? And then have him say yes or no.
yeah.
And then when he says
I
yes,
think he
go,
would
what
say
does that
no.
mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that entail? You're the chosen people, therefore what? What
Mhm.
happens in the real world? What beliefs revolve around the fact that you're actually the chosen people? It can't just
Yeah.
be, we're like everybody else. Tribes fight each other. What are you
Right.
talking about? Like piss or get off the pot.
Not me, but the
Well, the reason I say that is
prophets.
because I actually don't think that God said to them directly, kill men, women, and children. I think that the Bible is
Oh.
the product of human beings, inspired by God,
Oh.
trying to struggle with God's meaning, but clearly
He's a prophet.
Ash,
think
is
he
there
believes in
any rabbi? How do you hold the office of rabbi and make a statement like that? What? He doesn't believe?
I mean, to be fair, Torah.com also has a bunch of rabbi scholars that say basically the same thing.
Very
Really?
secular,
What?
modernist, Jewish
Yeah.
attitude towards it.
There's a lot of the modernist
But the
rabbis.
problem with that is
who
it
do
completely
actually,
undermines
like,
all of rabbinic Jewish claims, and it's a branch of rabbinic Judaism. So it's like, why do you believe anything
Yeah.
that you believe then? Why do you call
Yeah, 'cause-
yourself
yeah,
a Jew?
'cause
This
what
is
would be-
this is a religious identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
I don't.
Right
I
now,
mean,
you can say I'm just ethnically Jewish. I don't believe in Judaism at all, but I'm ethnically from a Jewish, like Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Mizrahi, Kafkazi,
Mhm.
whatever background. But you wouldn't be Jewish as a religious person. Like I'm not a religious Jew. I'm a Christian. Even
right,
though I'm
right,
Jewish ethnically.
Mhm.
But he
Right.
is claiming a Jewish religious identity.
right. That's what
You
I
kinda
think is
wanna
throwing
ask
me off.
him-
He calls himself a rabbi.
You want to ask
He's
him,
a lot of these
He's
guys.
an ordained Reform rabbi.
where do morals come from? That's what I'd like to hear him say. Where do they come
Yeah.
from?
A lot of
Well, there's a whole like the
a
rest
lot
of the
of these-
interview is like a lot about like understanding what Judaism is from his perspective. But it's like this is where it's dishonest from Alex's perspective. He brings on a Reform Jewish rabbi to give an idea of what Judaism is,
Yeah,
which is unfair to Jews and Judaism
Yep.
from the
Mhm.
get-go, because this
Yeah.
makes Jews look really bad. It's
It
like not only
does.
do you hate our religion, but you're also retarded.
He's just a secular humanist. It's like you might
He
as well have
is,
Richard
he is.
Dawkins up there.
He's
Yeah.
he debated Christopher Hitchens though.
He did, yeah. Which was
What
did they
weird,
disagree
'cause What
on?
did they
Yeah.
disagree on?
What did they disagree on?
Wow.
But this is
lot
dishonest.
of
This is
the-
disingenuous on Alex's part because you're bringing on this guy, presenting him as a
Yeah.
rabbi, even though he's a reform. Like, because Reform has their movement, they can claim whatever they want about their movement that these are rabbis, but they're not.
right.
This is nothing to do with rabbinic Judaism. Pretending that
Correct.
this is what Judaism believes about it. Meanwhile,
Mhm.
he's had to deny even the nasty claims of rabbinic Judaism against Christianity because he can't accept that religious component of it.
Right.
And then making all these wild claims about Christianity that are not true.
Right. But from an office of seeming authority, that when he says it, he has a scholarly approach, and not good.
No, not good at all.
the scholars that you see writing about it that don't believe the Torah is actually from God, they usually say that it was created in the time of the exile. Like the Torah was made in the time of the exile,
Oh
or
yeah,
the
I've
Torah
heard
was made
that.
under David's rule.
Mhm.
But so the Davidic stuff doesn't make any sense because of the theology. The exile stuff doesn't make any sense because of chronology and because of the theology. But the Torah, Joshua, and Judges do not talk about Zion. They don't talk about Jerusalem. They don't have the focus of the temple. They don't have Zion theology, which shows that they are written and completed before David and Solomon. So this guy
No, unfortunately,
and
this is
his
not
ilk
satire.
usually just entirely ignore the actual text itself, what the text says, the context of the text, the language of the text, the Egyptian influences within the text. And they say, oh, no, this is a Babylonian product made by humans based on like 10 different traditions, all blended together to make this book. And it just doesn't work. It's just, there's no evidence for it. We have so much evidence against it, including the statements of the book itself that says it's all written down.
And this whole approach is so wacky. Like, he juxtaposes like the false messiah Shabtai Tzvi. It's like Shabtai Tzvi claimed he could fly, and when his own followers said, "We can't see you flying," he said, "You're just not holy enough to see it."
Yeah.
Like, how in any way does that relate to the miracle claims of Jesus' disciples and the people around who hated him and disagreed with him, and the Talmud, which is a core document of this man's religious identity?
Beats me.
It's insane.
Beats me.
It is an ancient text from an ancient people that intermixes stunning moral insights and spiritual truths with the realities of a very ancient world.
How can you make the claim that it has stunning moral insights and spiritual truths if you don't believe it's true?
And also accusing it of committing atrocities.
And how do you
Right.
distinguish
This is
one
so
from the
weird.
other?
Right.
Right,
So you've
right.
decided what the moral insight is, and then you're retroactively deciding which things of it you like and don't like.
So who's
So you're
God
essentially
in
a
this
secular
religion?
humanist.
In this rabbi's religion,
That's
who's the
circular
God?
reasoning.
Can you look back
He's
in
his own
time
idol.
and yeah, and you can judge God and what was said. Goodness gracious.
It's because that's why.
Of course, at points in the Hebrew Bible, we have the recorded voice of God
Yes.
telling the nation of Israel to do what I would
Oh,
consider to be
bless him.
some
He still thinks
quite
he's talking to a Jew.
intolerably
Oh, Alex. Somebody give him a hug, man. Come
It's like,
on.
God, but
Come
the
on,
claim is that
O'Connor.
God are saying these things. God is saying these things.
Yeah.
Oh,
In your Bible, it says that God said these things, but you think that it's no different from any
Yeah,
other
this
book.
guy is a worse Jew than Jordan Peterson
Oh,
is a
well,
Christian,
yeah.
and Jordan Peterson isn't even a Christian.
yeah. Very accurate.
Right.
But he's a rabbi.
unethical war practices. Would you say that? I mean, you just said a moment ago you don't believe that God wrote every word of the Bible. I think that, of course, the Hebrew Bible as a whole shouldn't be treated as if God wrote every word. But those instances
Well,
where
actually,
it's-
that's how the Jewish tradition traditionally saw it, as God.
Okay, biblical anarchy. How did I just prove that Jesus isn't God? You better have a damn good response.
Yeah, that would be fun because I think we've all been here for a long time with Ash and
Yeah.
didn't pick up any.
I'm
I didn't pick up
assuming
anything.
I'm assuming he like started the stream just right now, and where he's like watching something from like an hour and a half ago. And he's not talking about right at this moment.
To the topic that they're talking about, though, I lost my thought. Never mind. I need to go to sleep earlier. Old man.
God wrote every word. And what I'm saying is the modern understanding of the Bible is that it's written by human beings. It developed over a long period of time. And that some of their understandings of what God wants, I think, are the understandings of people who lived thousands of years ago. And I use the Bible's own principles to criticize the Bible.
so where the Bible
I remember what I was going to
Actually
say
God
now.
speaking.
He just seems allergic to defending any position. That's what I was going to say. Like, I feel like I could go up to him and be like, I don't even think you have balls. And he'd be like, well, balls are relative. And,
It's a
someone with
social
balls is
construct.
not really
Yes.
that different from someone who doesn't have any balls.
It's
I'd
true.
almost prefer
the-
like a Daniel Hikikichu type that's like, yeah, I believe I'm supposed to kill you. It's
Oh,
what God
yeah.
said. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
At least
someone
you
that
can
actually
defend
has
yourself.
a
Have you-
position, you know?
No, biblical anarchy. That wasn't an invitation to come on the stream. That was to respond in
No.
the chat why you think I proved that Jesus isn't God, or send me an email if you'd like.
Well, Christian, you're not understanding that testicles are really just ovaries, but outside.
Yeah.
So-
Right,
Some
right.
kind of
And we all
crappy
start
thing.
life in the womb as females, and so
Yes,
like
all of
never
our
defend
all of our
anything.
testicles were at one point ovaries. Just it's like why men have nipples. You know,
Have you
it's
all
Right.
just
Clipped Manosphere
just
saying
is.
that people are not supposed to be male or female; they're supposed to be both, and put that in the stream for Israel Horowitz's intro.
That sounds like Gnosticism. Have y'all seen the Key and Peele where the one character just refuses to defend any positions? He just kind of keeps rolling his eyes. That's what this guy's like. And finally, the other guy just grabs him. He's like, "Say an opinion, any opinion."
Well, what do you mean by believe?
That's the same kind of thing. Yeah.
That's what I told my friend back in the day, and this is long before. This is when I was first leaving, kind of on my way out of Judaism, long before I ever became a Christian, before I even read the New Testament. And my friend was a big fan of Jordan Peterson, and he was like, "How could you not like Jordan Peterson's work and all this stuff and blah blah blah?" I was like, "The guy, what do you mean his work? Like, let me play the role here. What do you mean by his work? Because everyone who goes and sits down, you could have 1,500 people sit down together to watch Jordan Peterson. Every single one of them will have a different opinion on the matter, and everyone will leave thinking that he validated their opinion.
yeah. You know, it's just eloquent nothingness is what it is. And
I
and I
have to
don't
defend-
mean to attack him. I think he means well, but it's just you know, everybody laughs. I mean, in my generation, a little bit older than you guys, but you know, I make a big deal about how old I am. But like when Bill Clinton goes, well, that depends on what the definition of is.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was funny when he said it, because like, what? Are you serious?
Depends what you
But
mean.
that's
by
I mean,
it.
that's basically Jordan Peterson's whole thing. You know, you philosophize everything into this nothing soup that sounds very educated and eloquent, but it means nothing. I mean, everybody can, like Ash said, everybody's going to walk away with their own thing. And what's the point of that? You know, that it's just nothing. It's just a big puffy sweet nothing.
His sweet nothing I love the most. That's so funny. Sweet nothings. Is,
My sweet nothing.
he does lit crit of Peter Pan, and that video is actually really good, and it changed my life.
What is
but
it?
Probably y'all are gonna watch it and have a totally different interpretation of what he said anyway. So just prove your point.
Also, my favorite
Like,
part of the
it's-
stream so far is
Yeah.
me and Ash can both pull up comments, and whenever we see the same comment, we both click on it at the same time. It immediately puts it back down. And me and him both saw this as it popped up in the chat.
I immediately clicked on it at the same time.
Balls are overrated.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? The issue with Jordan Peterson, not to get too far off of this, but like Jordan Peterson, like he'll have, let's say, Wes Huff come on and do a Bible scholarship lesson, right? And I disagree with Wes Huff, and I think he fudges sources a little bit here and there. But at the end of the day, that's his field of expertise, right? So it makes sense to have Wes Huff on to do a Bible scholarship series.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Jordan Peterson himself doing a series on what the book of Exodus means?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? You don't care. You don't believe it's true.
Right.
You don't think that there's real theological value to derive from it, only symbols that match whatever your preconceived notions already are, as a psychologist, right, who studies Jung and whatever else.
Yeah, he's Jungian. That's his
Yeah.
core. Yeah.
I think there's some merit, by
Make
the way,
your
to like
bed.
Jungian analysis
Make
and
your
stuff like that,
bed.
but it's not. Make your bed. Everything after that.
I'll try to do it, but it just turns into
can't.
Kermit the Frog.
It's pretty sick.
Why are
It's
there
pretty
so
sick.
many songs about rainbows? It's on the other side.
No, I do have to say though, I do think he means
no, they
well,
found
but
me
I
out.
think the problem is because he does have like the what would be the word? He's up there, you know, and so people don't feel comfortable calling him out.
I
And
called him out on X.
yeah, that I think more people need to. And I actually think I don't see him as a person with. I mean, I think you know he's got
I
his
don't
own
buy
personal
your
struggles.
symbols.
But I think he's
do.
you
If
know
I were
he's
to bring
open
reasonable
to.
evidence that the Prophet Muhammad, that
Yeah.
he was a true prophet, would you be willing to become a Muslim?
How about no? I don't buy your Allah.
And then there's
That's
like
what when Jordan
David
Peterson
Wood
goes like,
going,
"Don't you see?"
maple syrup?
I don't mind your.
But when he was like,
Don't you see the symbols? Don't you see the symbols and the connections?
It's like, what does it matter? You don't believe it's from
Right.
God.
Right,
It's just
right.
something you've identified a pattern in the world, just like any analysis of anything in the world. You come to a
Mhm.
conclusion about it, but that doesn't necessarily make it true,
Right,
and it's certainly
right,
not divine truth.
right. And that's I mean to
What
people
do you
that,
mean by truth?
that he's Pilate, he's Pontius Pilate, he's a perpetual Pontius Pilate. And that's my
But
second time alliterating this live stream. I think I should get like some sort of
Jordan
badge.
Peterson is Pontius Pilate.
A potential
Should make a remake of the Passion
perpetual
of the Christ
Pontius
with
Pilate.
Jordan Peterson as Pontius Pilate.
Peterson potential
What
Pontius
is truth?
So they say they're the king of the Jews. Is that true?
What do you mean by king? What do you mean by
What do you
Jew?
mean by king? Do you mean like Caesar?
What do you mean by truth?
Or like the size of a mattress?
He does have balls, though. I gotta defend him there too.
He
Jordan
does.
Peterson
That's
has
why I
balls.
say I don't think he's not.
Do you mean
genuine.
ovaries?
But for
I would-
but
I
here's
would
the thing,
enjoy
for such
dinner with
for such
Jordan
an
Peterson.
intelligent man, and he's somebody who is genuinely intelligent, right? To get up
Yeah.
on stage and somebody asks like, "Do you believe in God?" What do you mean by believe? Do you believe in God? Do you live like you believe
Yeah.
in God? Like,
It was a
welcome
bit
to
of a, like, a-
Christianity.
Yeah.
Condescending flex.
Like,
at
you
that
got
point,
it.
It seemed like.
But that's the claim of Christianity, is that we are fallen sinners who, without
Mm,
the grace of God, continue to do those things.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Man, here's where I should
Tells
play
us,
more of this
you know,
video.
God said
I want to see how wacky.
these words. It's not sort of a narrative. I mean, it's not sort of
Right.
even something like the Genesis story, like in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It'd be weird if like God said those words, you know, like I can sort of understand that, but where the Hebrew Bible says these are the words that God spoke
Right.
to Moses, for
Right.
example. Are you telling me that you're happy to sort of read that and say, well, maybe they just recorded it wrong? Maybe
No,
God
no,
didn't
no,
say
no,
these
not
things?
not at all. They recorded it wrong. I'm not a literalist.
Sure.
It is that this is what they understood God to want of them, and I think that as a people,
So all their prophecy and divine insight was wrong.
Uh-huh. Right.
Oh.
So God
It's
said
just what
something
they
Can I-
very
you know,
can I
simple
he's-
to
pull
them,
you guys up
and
here,
they
and
just
I'm gonna
misunderstood it.
I'm gonna go do a live stream.
He's gonna do a live stream.
It's contagious, these live streams.
Oh yeah, I've been holding a live stream back this whole time.
Me too.
Um, I've been drinking too much water. Some meme. The meme is coming out of me that will become a second live
Hey,
stream.
now I've got all this nostalgia for the Monday crew. I was so sad to miss it
Oh,
this last
man,
Monday because
yeah.
I was ill. And
Good times.
there we go. There's my guys.
To be fair, Ash does come on like half the time whenever we stream on
He
Monday.
does. But
So,
usually he's got like a
this is-
fun like background and he's got a pipe or a cigar.
Right, 'cause he's
and
on his phone and smoking cigar.
Yeah, now
and
he's all
drinking
official and he's got
some
his
form of
real
wine and
background and
alcohol.
it feels like
Yeah.
He
he's the
started
new
to
boss.
feel like one of my friends because he just pops up all the time. It's like, oh, Ash.
He
What's up,
does.
man?
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, let me plug my stream real quick. Every Monday we do deep, insightful Bible studies.
I'm gonna go get a little sip of something.
Well, that's the aim.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Time to get
Next
this
Monday we're gonna
gadfly
go
flying.
over Joshua.
And that'll be
No, we
fun
just
because
did-
we just touched on that with
I was gonna say-
this guy. He said, you know, Joshua and atrocities and this and that. We'll go through those and we'll talk about those alleged atrocities and see what actually is going on.
Yeah. Josh was actually pretty base and a lot
Mhm.
about Jesus.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go through a lot of Jesus stuff,
He turns
especially in
up
the
in
Hebrew.
there.
There's a lot of Jesus there. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's kind of crazy. But we also just finished all of John. I also did a 5-hour live stream on Jesus being God and claiming to be God. That was
Very
pretty
good.
cool.
Very good.
So if
With
you want
slides,
to
by the
go,
way.
a lot of slides, 201 slides. Yes.
Yeah.
So it was very, very fun. But we just did all the stuff going through John in the Greek and all the little details there was good. But yeah. So
No.
it's
You
all
can
zip
get-
flavored.
You can get pumpkin
I-
spice flavor, but we are
It's
we are
naturally
opposed
creamed.
to flavoring coffee. We believe that you should taste the
We believe you
know,
should
the
flavor your coffee with coffee.
intrinsic- Yes, coffee
Yes.
should taste like
You need,
coffee.
you need to taste the veins. Yeah.
No. Chris,
of
you
the
cannot sell
coffee
Zud
bean.
coffee.
Sorry. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I saw this comment
coffee
right before
bean
I
veins.
just had to go pee very badly. This is the person who said I proved
sorry.
that Jesus that proved that I proved
Oh.
that Jesus isn't God when I said about the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. I've been debunked, Chris. Christianity is false. Do you see this?
Well-
one sentence debunk of Christianity here.
Yeah, you heard it here,
If
folks.
blasphemy of the Spirit can't be forgiven because it's blaspheming God, notice that's not what I said. And blasphemy of the Son can be forgiven, then the Son isn't God.
Oh,
Christianity
okay.
debunked. You came up with the
Blasphemy-
syllogism that disproves Christianity. After 2,000 years, you've done it.
No one ever thought of this.
No
No
one
one
ever
ever
thought of this
thought
before.
of this exactly.
No one ever thought to go on a live stream, take Ash's words, change them, and then make it seem like it said something that it wasn't saying. You've done it. Okay. Let's address this. Okay. Let's pull it back up here.
Hold on a minute. Yeah.
So first of all, I didn't say that blasphemy of the Spirit can't be forgiven because it's blaspheming God.
You actually,
not what I
Ash,
said.
you laid it out very clearly what you consider blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Like right after you said it.
Now, the first problem here is you, Biblical Anarchy. I know you know something of the New Testament, apparently. Starting to think less and less. But you would have to be making the assertion here that the New Testament teaches that the Father isn't God by the same logic. Do you realize how ridiculous that is? Now, again, I didn't say that blaspheming the Spirit can't be forgiven because it's blaspheming God. The Spirit is what moves us as humans and brings us to connection with God. There's terminology of the Spirit being the communion of love between the Father and the Son, and so interacts with us in the same way. So us...
I didn't want to interrupt. Sorry. You were supposed to keep going.
What are you shoveling? I hope you're not holding something there.
He's
What is
cooking.
this?
He's cooking.
I thought it was you doing your live stream. The beard.
No.
I was like, get that
Wow, I
PP
guess
off
there's
of this camera.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
trying to get
oh, boy.
monetized.
Oh boy.
Well-
this is gonna get taken down.
That was my
Christian
attempt.
puts up
Spatula.
cartoon porn.
What's wrong with your dirty mind, Christian Gadfly? It's a spatula.
It's a spatula.
Ash, have you ever seen the show I Think You Should Leave?
No.
There's an episode where this guy is playing this game on his computer at work, and it's like you're just feeding eggs to this big egg, and then his boss walks in and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just playing this game." And as soon as he wins, the guy like turns around and bends over, and it shows the butthole of. Why am I telling this story?
Wait, why? Okay, wait. I come
you didn't
back, and the
see-
first thing I hear is butthole. What
You
in the
didn't see
world is-
Steven's spatula drawing.
I thought Steven had drawn a picture of himself doing a live stream, but really he was drawing a picture of Ash cooking. But then have you seen, I Think You Should Leave, the clip where he's feeding all the eggs to that egg? He's playing that game at work.
Iblis?
No. If anyone in the chat knows what I'm talking about, please say you've seen that because I'm feeling very alone right now. Nobody knows what this
No
is.
idea what you're on about.
Anyway, so he says not at all with my analogy about the Father. So no, just because the Father wasn't mentioned doesn't mean your logic still wouldn't apply. If blaspheming the Spirit is blaspheming God, and that means the Son is not God, that would apply to the Father by the same logic, even if the Father's not mentioned. Unless you think the Spirit is the Father, which it also doesn't say. Now, I didn't say that blaspheming the Spirit can't be forgiven because it's blaspheming God. It's because the Spirit is how we are moved towards God and faith and brings us to Christ, that brings us to himself. So it's the Spirit that we'd be denying in that sense when we see the work of God and the hand of God in the world and deny it, when it's very clear to us, not only visibly, but internally and spiritually. You took something that I said, made it sound like something else, and this is your great argument against Christianity, how Jesus isn't God.
In biblical anarchy, his hermeneutics he just did there, they make sense too. Like if you look at the context, he's talking to Pharisees who are rejecting who he really is. And so contextually, it makes sense that that would be how you would interpret blaspheming the Spirit.
Yep.
Because they're denying the Son.
Yep. And they're calling him the devil. They're calling him evil. So it's knowingly, with full knowledge, lying about God and his nature and Christ.
He says, I'm stammering through a walking back of what I said earlier. I think I explained it pretty well.
Knees. Oh, you changed your name, it said.
Why did
The
I do
assimilator.
that? Oh, he was talking about, yeah, they only did assimilation. They didn't wipe him out. And so then I made the assimilator.
There's a funny, it's called The Jews Are Coming, but Yehudim Baim. It's like an Israeli comedy show, like sketches, and they do a lot of biblical stories. And see, he goes now, so the Spirit isn't God, it's just the force that moves us to God? No, this is just bad. Either you're stupid or you're bad faith. It's one or the other. That's not what I said. Anyways, Jews are coming. So they have this sketch where Moses is like commanding, like giving the 10 Commandments, and he says not to kill. And the Israelites are all like, what do you mean I can't? You can't kill? What does that mean? And they're like arguing with him, and somebody's saying like, well, what if first he says he says don't covet your neighbor's wife, and one of the guys is like, what if she's like really good looking? And Moses is like, no. Notice how I had to demote the Holy Spirit to escape. I didn't demote the Holy Spirit.
No.
The Holy Spirit is one of the persons of the Trinity, and the Holy Spirit is what works in us, the person of the Trinity who works in us to bring us to God. Like you're arguing against Christianity, but you don't appear to know what the claims of Christianity are. So then he's talking about don't murder, and they're like, wait a second, what do you mean don't murder? And he's like, what don't you get about don't murder? And they're like, well, you told us to clear the land of like all its inhabitants. And he's like, well, that doesn't mean kill them. And they're like, what do you want us to do? Send them on a cruise? And he's like, fine. You can kill the Amorites, the Canaanites, right? And he goes through the list, and then somebody's like, and Amalekites. He's like, what about the Amalekites? He's like, well, you said to kill all the Amalekites. He's like, fine, and the Amalekites, and they have Moses like stuttering. But then everyone's like, and Egyptians, and he's like, what do you mean Egyptians? Who was talking about Egyptians? And they're like, well, you killed an Egyptian. What, Moses can kill an Egyptian?
If we
he
can't.
can kill any Egyptian he wants, and we can't. And he gets pissed off. He takes the tablets and breaks them on the lady's head and kills her. he goes, don't kill. It's simple. Don't kill. What are you not getting? The funnier one though is when Abraham is going to circumcise his kids. And they're like, no, don't do that. And he's like, they have Abraham like talking like to voices and stuff like that. And he's going to go circumcise them. And Isaac goes, wait, I heard it. No, it said do something else. And it makes it funny in the Hebrew, but he goes like, no, do this instead. Like, don't, he said, like instead of Zion, it's Zayit. So he goes, no, he said to cut a Zayit, which is an olive. And he's like, wait a second. And he goes, God, did you mean Zion or Zayit? He goes, no, it's definitely Zion. So he circumcises them, and he goes, and they're like sitting there recovering, and they're like all ticked off at him, and they're like, Dad, what are we supposed to do with the? And he says kippah, which is like the top, and he goes, I don't know, put it on your head. Which is a kippah. It's like the origin of the kippah too. It's even funny with subtitles. Like you have one where it's like they have Israeli cultural stuff, so they have like the execution of Adolf Eichmann. And the Israeli executioners, they've never done an execution before, so they keep messing up the gallows. And like they forget to tie the rope to stuff. And then the trap door, there's like floor right below it, and it doesn't go all the way down. And then they can't get the lever to work. And eventually in the last attempt, they're like 450 times later, we've grown, quite fond of you. And like they're having this whole like dialogue with Eichmann. And then they're like talking, they're like, they try to do it and it won't pull the lever. And he's like, let me do it. And he puts his noose around his own neck, like tightens it down, goes on the trapdoor and pulls the lever. And before he does it, he goes, if you want to do something right, you got to do it yourself. It's like, and they're like, wow, and then they're like standing around, they're like, wow, what an expert. Like he did that so smoothly also. And like no hesitation. They're like really impressed with Eichmann's execution of himself. Yeah.
I sent you both the egg game skit. You can watch that later on your leisure.
Watch here, Biblical Anarchy. There's going to be, somebody said, did you ever secretly listen to Lizzo's Juice when no one's watching? I don't know what that is.
I have never heard it myself. I probably never will. I have the fortunate privilege to have never heard Lizzo sing anything. So I'm guessing with that, Ash demoted the Holy Spirit. There's going to be clips of that. Ash demoted the Holy Spirit by saying that it's the force that works in us that bring us to God. Just watch. And you can say anything, people will try to spin it.
Yep.
I don't have to deal with that
yet. Watching the Rabbi and Alex O'Connor?
If you want, just nonsense.
See a little bit more. Let's see how much crazy we can get out of it tonight.
People who lived in a very different universe from the universe we live in, what they understood God to want of them is not at all what we always understand God to want of us. And so it's not as though, oh my God, I got it wrong. It's rather that the Bible, which spans, by the way, some 1,000 years of writing, was a gradual process. And you can even see inside the Bible criticism of the Bible. It's why some of the later writings don't accord with earlier writings, because this is a process of coming to grips with and understanding God, which takes a long time, and under duress tends to be less, I think, has less fidelity to what we understand to be God's will than when situations are better.
So how do you specifically interpret these passages? I mean, maybe for the sake of the audience and for the sake of our own sort of context here, I can point to some directly. Some of the ones that I've been raising as objections in my debates with Christians, for example, would include Deuteronomy chapter 20, verses 10 onwards. When you march up to attack a people, to attack a city, make its people an offer of peace. If they accept and open their gates, all of the people in it shall be subject to forced labor and shall work for you. If they refuse to make peace with you, bearing in mind that peace is forced labor, and engage you in battle, lay siege to that city. When the Lord your God delivers it into your hand, put to the sword all the men in it. As for the women, the children, and the livestock, and everything.
Deuteronomy 10, I believe is what he said. Deuteronomy 10.
That might be the Moabite passage.
Is he? Like, I just want to know what he's
remember off the top
referring
of my
to
head.
here, because Alex O'Connor is not known for correct context.
No.
Alex O'Connor. I'd be like, well, he only wanted that if the Canaanites looked kind of mousy and had brown hair and tiny eyes and spoke like this, then they could enslave him. And then I would just look at him.
Delivers it into your
Deuteronomy
hand, bearing in
20.
mind that piece is forced labor,
Mhm.
and engage you in battle, labor,
And-
and shall work for you. If there are people to attack a city, make its food. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verses.
Deuteronomy 20.
Yeah, 2010 through 18, I'd assume. Or 10 through 20.
Steve, you're back.
Troops. Is there anyone planted a vineyard? Has never been harvested. Let him go back to his home. Is there anyone who...
It starts in
so,
verse 10.
First of all, isn't this addressing a people that have attacked, that like this is a like what rabbinic Judaism would refer to a mandatory war as opposed to a permitted war, because it's an enemy that has come upon Israel? Isn't that the context?
It looks like the context is specifically just about them leaving Egypt, going into the Promised Land.
Just when you march up to attack a city, it doesn't tell us why they're attacking the city.
I think this is just the Canaanite conquest passage. But that in and of itself would go against the, you have to destroy all Canaanites. If this is actually like a, hey, you can survive if you become indentured servants, that would go against the command of, oh, they have to kill all of them.
This sort of thing's easy
Because
to debate against an atheist like
Deuteronomy
O'Connor. You'd be like, yeah, God said it. It's good to do. What are you going to say about it? You have no moral standard.
Well, I mean, he has no standard to stand on anyways.
Right.
Deuteronomy 20,
Yeah.
10.
So 16 and 17 adds a little bit more of a leeway. So only in the cities of those people that Yahweh your God is giving you as an inheritance, you shall not leave alive anything that breathes. But you shall devote them to destruction, the Hittite, the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, the Jebusite, as Yahweh your God has commanded you. So that would mean that the rest of it is just applicable to all war going on into the future. But specifically only those Canaanites you actually have to destroy.
I guess I have a bone to pick with Christian translations here, and well, Jewish translations also, but for Christian translations for not being better. The verse doesn't say forced labor. Like, it doesn't mean like labor camps, right? Lamas in Hebrew, like that's a word used in modern Hebrew to mean tax. It's a tribute.
Mhm.
And they will serve you, meaning they're going to pay you tribute from their labor. It doesn't mean you're putting people in labor camps.
It's the jizya.
And you're doing forced labor. That's not what it means. It's these cities that you're going to conquer in this land that I'm giving to you. If the people submit to that, they're going to pay tribute to you. And I can't fault Alex on this one because that's how they translate it to the English. It's like, and they shall like be forced to do labor.
Mm-hmm.
It's the jizya.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you're right. Lamas. Yeah,
it means they're going to give you tribute and work for tribute for you.
Ten onwards.
Yeah, and this is the other aspect of it is, all these nations doing child sacrifice, and when Israel does that,
worse.
God punishes them even more harshly.
Yes. The promises and the cursing of Israel is more wonderful than the other nation. It's more harsh than the other nations. They're held to the higher standard, so they get both aspects of it. I don't know. He disconnected from the stream after he's done live streaming. and then it's just not loading quite correctly. Go ahead and reload, Steven, if you can hear me.
Just go out and come back in.
Attack a people and engage you in battle, lay siege to that city. When the Lord your God delivers it into your hand, put to the sword all the men in it. As for the women, the children, and the livestock, and everything else in the city, you may take these as plunder for yourselves, and you may use the plunder the Lord has given you from your enemies. It then continues, however, in the nations that the Lord God has given you as an inheritance, do not leave alive anything that breathes. Completely destroy them. The Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, so on, as the Lord your God has
He
commanded
didn't
you.
want to try to pronounce
Otherwise, they'll teach you to
Jebusites.
follow the detestable things that they do in worshipping their gods and sin against the
I
Lord your God. So,
interpret them exactly the way I just said, which is that was how an ancient people in war behaved, and they understood that to be God's will.
but do you think
But-
God issued this command? I mean,
I don't know how many times I've said several times, no. I think that human beings wrote that book, inspired sometimes by God, sometimes not, sometimes recording exactly what ancient people said. But no, I don't think God spoke. I'm not a literalist. I don't think God spoke those words. I think human beings wrote the Bible, and they often in the Bible instantiated what their desires
brother.
were and projected them onto God, which people have a tendency to do.
okay, so I'm fine with that, and I'm sorry if I make you feel like you're repeating yourself. I'm trying to get to grips
I'm
with
fine with that.
the people.
Well, your assumption, I think that the disconnect
I'm
here
sorry, I
is
didn't realize that you
that
weren't a religious person because you called yourself a rabbi.
you
Right.
represent
Clearly
a
my mistake.
tradition, not you,
Mhm.
but you're representing a tradition that doesn't allow for the critical study of the Bible that starts with the assumption, which is what I start with, that human beings wrote this.
Pause him just
Yeah,
for
sure.
a second.
Okay.
And once
What in the
I would
world is
respect
wait,
him so
wait, wait,
much.
wait. Alex just agreed to the statement that he just made, and that's a false statement from Alex's own worldview. He's a critical agnostic skeptic. He takes the scholar view that this is all written over the span of thousands of years and it's written mostly in David's time. He just spoke on the exact view Alex has and says you're not coming from this worldview, and then Alex agreed to that. What?
I was going to say, I would respect the rabbi's position so much more if he was like, you know what? I do subjectively dislike this passage and it makes me uncomfortable, but I need to submit to whatever God's plan is for my life. And I'm not sure how to cohere this with the rest of my worldview yet, but I'm going to trust that God had more information than I have, or something like that. It's just like no humility. It is all just like,
Right.
yeah, they got
But how does that help him support the ADL demonizing Christians for the New Testament while claiming that he promotes Christianity? I don't see how that ties in.
It's like, it's okay to say there's something in scripture that
Christmas.
makes you uncomfortable. This guy's incapable of defending a position that makes him uncomfortable. He's just so like, he's like a buttery squid.
I feel like that's a very specific redneck reference.
Very
I've heard that simile applied to Bill Clinton.
You're harder
before.
to catch than a buttery squid.
Slippier than a buttery squid. He was Slick Willie.
Well, what happens if you put honey garlic sauce on it?
That sounds pretty good. I like squid. Have y'all ever eaten squid?
I've never had squid.
It's pretty good.
It took me a
think I've
long
had it.
time to get comfortable with shrimp.
Oh, I bet that would be weird.
Yeah.
A whole life not eating those, and they look gross.
Sea bugs.
Yeah, they're like
Also,
cockroaches.
But once
seafood
they're
just tastes like a
prepared,
fish
they don't
peed
look
on
like
it.
bugs anymore.
Have them fried. That's the way to tiptoe in. Anybody's trying to get started on shrimp, get some popcorn
Oh, yeah,
shrimp.
the Costco panko shrimp frozen.
Oh,
in the air
yeah.
fryer.
Panko or
Dip in
coconut
sauce.
shrimp.
No, I've gotten comfortable now. I can take like fresh shrimp and prepare it and put it in Cajun seasoning, put it in the air fryer with some oil.
Cajun, yeah. That's
Cajun
right.
shrimp is good.
We'll take questions in the chat if you do super chats or
Yeah.
just bring up something relevant. But
It's
no,
not a
it's not a
call-in
call-in stream tonight. I will do a call-in stream next Friday. Steven's back.
I have
There
the
we
best
go.
thumbnail for
I'll
my
be out of
next call-in
town.
stream. It's going to be hilarious.
What are you doing for your
It's
next
me,
call-in?
it's me in a phone booth on the phone with a bunch of Haredim like attacking the phone booth. And then it has like Jewish delicatessen on like a Brooklyn like sign.
Mm.
It's gonna be
I know
fun.
with Steven here, it looks like we're just letting anybody in, but we're actually not.
No, Stephen was part of the stream. We have to have the Jewish Catholic and the slippery Judaizer.
And then
yeah.
everything
It's
in
like
between.
the balance. Yeah.
The betweens. Yeah. I'm just goyish.
I was
Yeah.
I one time opened up an egg from my parents' farm and I dropped it in a bowl and it was like a half developed chicken embryo. And I like yelled out. I was like, "Ugh!" And my sister was like,
Mm.
"Will you eat chicken?" I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "And you eat eggs?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "That's just an in-betweeny."
The French people, dude.
Chris and I are
Yeah,
the
so
in-betweenies.
I'm not a huge fan of pork, even though I've tried it several
good.
times in general. Pork chop one time didn't turn out that great, or I guess I just don't like pork. I do love the crap out of some bacon.
Mm.
And St.
Bacon,
Louis style ribs.
guanciale is okay.
Whoa,
Guanciale.
Chris, you don't have to cuss. This is a Christian live stream.
Guanciale. Guanciale is pretty good.
Guanciale.
Pardon your Italian.
Guanciale. Yes, sorry, my Italian's out there.
That's what you yell when
Yeah,
somebody blocks your
prosciutto
view when the new pope is
or
coming out.
prosciutto.
Guanciale.
Prosciutto, bacon, guanciale are the only acceptable parts of pig to eat. Everything else is kind of meh or not very good, in my culinary opinion.
Yeah, so for me,
culinary.
the only
That was last month.
pig foods that I like are bacon and St. Louis ribs.
Oh, ribs. I forgot about ribs. Did y'all see that video where Sneeko
How'd
was
you forget
eating
about
ribs?
Yeah.
There's a video
He's like, oh,
Were they
Sneeko
beef
just
ribs though?
Is this
Were they
tearing up
lamb
ribs.
ribs?
Me?
Were they pork ribs?
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
pork
Sneeko.
ribs.
Yeah.
I do.
No,
I
was
like
Sneeko
pork
eating pork ribs?
He's Muslim.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
As a
And he
Muslim?
could have lied about it, gotten away
As a
with
Muslim.
it.
Yeah.
Instead, he was like, "Y'all need to quit
Yeah.
judging me" or something stupid. It's like, okay, well, you just verified that they were
Yeah.
pig.
You know what's
He's gonna
funny
go kiss
is
the blacksmith. It's okay.
I grew up with pork and ham
Yeah.
as my
He ate
favorite
pork
food.
ribs.
But pork ribs, like there's something that's just not okay about it. Like it's like Jello,
hush.
you know? It's like Jello.
Pork?
Yeah, pork ribs.
Pork ribs.
Jello.
It was
Do
like
you mean it melts in your mouth when you eat it?
yeah, and but not in a
Oh,
good
Like a
no.
way,
Wagyu
you know?
steak?
No, like you want M&Ms to melt in your mouth and not in your hand, and that's an okay thing. But like when you're eating like a carcass and it just kind of turns into this weird like pudding, this gray
Yeah.
pudding in your mouth, it's like I don't know about
Making me
that.
hungry.
Oh, well rendered fat. That's a
Yeah,
that's
it's a
delicacy.
bit much. Even for me, I mean, I convinced my family the last Thanksgiving I ever celebrated. I convinced my family to not have a Thanksgiving turkey, but to have a Thanksgiving ham. And so I was a big
Oh, I like
big
ham
pig
too. I forgot
fan.
about that.
But ribs I couldn't
Ham is
do.
okay.
It was just like it just something seems, you know,
Hey, Chris,
there's
you don't
something
eat pork?
intrinsically wrong about it.
All right. I eat pig. I don't like pork chops and pulled pork. Like
Pork
again, I
chops
grew
are
up
not
in
good.
the South.
They're not good. Pork
I
chops,
grew up
I mean,
I did
in
not enjoy
everything
pork
from a
chops,
pig
and I
is
did them
good.
right. Everything. I looked up how
It's
to do
really
it because
not
I'd
good.
never made pork chops before.
No, it tastes like a sweaty slipper.
They're kind of boring.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that.
I grew up with Memphis barbecue, and I have still never been that impressed by pulled pork.
I like some.
My least favorite barbecue
I haven't tried
Actually,
pork.
speaking of barbecue,
flavored things.
now this is where this is where I'm going to play really into the slippery Judaizer stereotype. I learned that banana peels are edible, and
Don't
if
say
you,
it.
Ham's just
I
fighting
know as a
words.
southerner, I don't like
Don't
pulled
say
pork
that.
as a southerner. I know it's a like heresy, but
Don't want to hear
so
it.
Yeah,
pulled
that's
pork, Chris,
it's not for me.
you take a banana peel and you take
I like
a
pulled
fork
chicken.
and you kind of carve it up, like scrape the fork down it till it becomes like noodly, and then you put it in a skillet with barbecue sauce and you cook the banana peel in the barbecue sauce, and banana peel tastes like meat. You basically like a pulled pork sandwich out of banana
No, it
peel.
doesn't.
What are you talking? I wish you'd get lost in your beard.
Somebody told me when I was like 15 years old that if you grill a portobello
No
mushroom with the
damn
steak
banana.
spice on it, it tastes like a steak. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'll give that a try.
that's not
So I
true.
grill a portobello mushroom and I eat. I'm like, this
Yeah,
tastes like a fungus because that's what
it
it is.
does. It does. Yeah, it does. That's that's vegan
Like-
hopefulness.
People would say
But-
tuna tastes like steak.
Did you know if you get a
Just-
banana peel and scrape it with a fork and fry it and put a barbecue sauce on it, it'll taste like garbage with barbecue sauce on it.
You know, if you dry it and crinkle it up, no.
So
Roll it up.
I have had
light it up.
I've had barbecue from all the barbecue centers. I've had it from Austin. I've had it from Memphis. I've had it
Texas
from
barbecue.
Kansas City. I've had it in Alabama. My favorite barbecue by far in America is in Kansas City, and it's the Chicken Z-Man with added coleslaw. That is an excellent
Coleslaw
experience.
is an underrated thing, and it's also you
Coleslaw
can
is
get like
delicious.
a
It
couple
is.
different types of. Now, my
Sweet and tangy
introduction
coleslaw,
to
specifically.
coleslaw was from Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's like what I base coleslaw off of.
It's all
It's-
right.
It's pretty
It's
good,
fine.
for what you can get from fast
A
food.
fast food
But
place.
But there's also
Canes
like a
has some good
vinegar
stuff too.
based.
Raising Canes.
Yeah. And there's a place locally here called City Bird, and they make coleslaw. And I mean it's it's a funny thing. Because
So-
it's
You
cabbage.
keep doxing where you live over
I
and
know,
over and
you
over
know, I
again
don't-
by mentioning things are like by your house.
Yeah,
You gotta
I'm
stop,
saying,
my guy.
people
You gotta stop.
I've been hated long enough. If people want to do something about it, just send me to the Lord sooner. I'm not worried.
Maranatha, just kill me, I guess. Yeah. Uh,
So my mom makes coleslaw as like a staple of like the first course at a Shabbat meal, but she usually does like a creamy mayo based coleslaw.
Yeah, that's the good
like
kind.
that.
However, one of my friends growing up had this weird. I'm starting to second guess his sanity now in retrospect, but he had this weird aversion to anything like mayo, creamy eggs, like anything like that, sour cream, cream cheese, like anything, like just a weird aversion to it. And so when he would come over for our Shabbat meal, my mom would make two coleslaws, and she would make like the vinegar, like tangy vinegar coleslaw without creamy mayo.
Mm.
So we always had two coleslaws.
Yeah,
you
I'd
just
rather
gotta
have
so
combine them, then you
that's
get
a-
the best. You get the best, man.
Yeah.
You have. I usually do apple cider vinegar with some mayo on it. You get tangy and creamy.
Oh,
It's good. It's good. Yeah, add some lime juice and some like cilantro or something else on it too.
oh wow.
Wonderful. I eat that on everything. I basically make banh mi sauce for coleslaw and then just throw it on any sandwich.
You
in
know
our
what's
food.
another thing that kind of goes with everything is pickled onions. That's and that's an
It's-
easy thing
yeah.
to make, and it just kind of goes with everything. It's like an enhancer to. I mean, sometimes embarrassingly, it's like 3 a.m, as we're all acquainted with, and then you say, well, you know what, I should eat something very terrible so that I don't sleep through the night. And then you say, well, what would that be? And then you get a piece of bread, and then you take a big fork of pickled onions, and you just fold the bread on it, and then maybe a little bit of cayenne pepper to really ensure that you don't sleep. And then you,
Someone told me today that I should take red onions, slice them up, put them in apple cider vinegar for about 24 hours, and then put them on my burgers.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It goes
Oh,
on everything,
good.
Ash. Put it on
I
everything.
wouldn't
It
just eat it on
works.
bread though.
Yeah.
Like with
No.
no burger.
Yeah.
It's I mean it's
You
fine
know,
by
you
itself.
can though.
but
It's like a weird meat sub. When we were kids, we would make these jokes because we had a lot of poverty times, and there was something about like Doritos where they kind of were a meat substitute. So you could make like a Dorito sandwich with the Doritos as the meat, because there's something in there that like kind of like crosses the boundary from
umami. It's
Yeah,
called
yeah,
MSG. That's
Yeah,
what
it
it
is.
has. Is it has
You know what I
MSG on
noticed?
it. Yeah, that's what it has.
There
Why
was
do
this health
trying
food
to-
store near our house growing up, and I would go over there sometimes for like specific like things that they would only sell at this health food store. Like what it
Mhm.
like maybe flaxseed oil or whatever else it was that we wanted for something, right? And you'd go in there and it's a health food store. I was always shocked, you know, from a young age, like seeing that everyone in the health food store was really sickly looking.
Yeah.
And I was like, are they sick?
That's why they're there.
I remember asking my older brother when I was like 9 years old, and we like went to go pick something up and we walked over there. And I remember asking my older brother, was like, are they sick because they're eating the food here, or are they eating the food here because they're sick?
I
And my
kind of
brother was
view
like,
it as
that's very insightful for a 9-year-old.
I feel like the people that are
But
really into that are they're like secular. It's like secular asceticism, you know.
Hmm.
It's
it's very
they,
new
they
agey.
they suffer nobly from their perspective so that other things don't have to suffer, but I mean they do suffer. It's just not a
So, but here's the
The
funny thing
Green
about it.
Party.
So
Yeah.
I started boxing when I was 14. I boxed until I was about 20 years old. I did like somewhat competitively. I was coaching at one point and stuff like that. And so I was very into like I had to do like a nutrition segment for my coaching like license that I did. And then in general I was into nutrition and like stuff like that for sports. And I remember coming across people who are vegan and also gluten free.
ooh.
And I was like,
What's left?
how are you alive?
Yeah. What do you
It's
eat?
just not a
Dirt?
fun life.
Like you need the gluten from the wheat products to make the complete protein with the
protein.
legumes or whatever other thing, peas or whatever
Uh-huh.
else it is that you're eating. How are you getting
They
any
just eat.
protein at all? And I
They
realized
eat a
they're all
lot of
just
beans
slowly
and
wasting
nuts.
away.
Well,
But even beans and
yeah.
nuts wouldn't give you a total protein, so there's going to be amino acids you're
Right.
It
lacking
wouldn't.
that your liver
Yeah,
can't survive on, that your heart can't grow on, right?
Right.
Like
they're just
regenerate
slowly
itself.
dying.
There's a reason God
You're like
gave us
slowly
meat after the
starving to
flood.
death. It's crazy. Why would you do that to yourself?
I got a crush on a girl who was a vegetarian in college, and so I tried to go without meat. I lasted, I think, 2 weeks.
2 minutes.
It was like 2 weeks, and then I just was like, I can't do it anymore. And I got a steak. My dad had slaughtered a cow, so it's like
Don't you
this.
know not to change your whole lifestyle for a woman, man? Come
I
on.
was young, I was
This
stupid,
is
and
manhood
this is how I
101.
learned this lesson though, because I took that steak and I cooked it for maybe 10 seconds, flipped it over. It was barely cooked. I think there was blood coming out of it, and I put it in my mouth, and it was like, oh, I didn't realize how bad I was. Like it felt like I woke up or something. It was like whenever you're sick, you don't realize you're sick until you feel better. You go, wow, this is what it feels like to feel. Because I like, yeah, man.
I love her. I'll be able to fix her. It's okay.
When it's like when
Grow
the
up,
blood from
take
that
control,
meat hit my
Parables.
body, the lights came on. I was like, suddenly I have short-term memory again.
You know what's funny about that? Like, there's a lot of people out there that are this like they'll talk about that like jokingly. So I was like that to like almost a fault. So on my first date with my wife, like somehow it came up like a political disagreement or something like that. And I was like, she just tried to like move on with it, like say the thing, and then I was like, no. We're gonna talk about that now. And I explained to her what she changed her mind. And I was like, good, this is good progress.
Yeah, that's
And then I told her, I was like on the third date, something like that. I was like, okay, so now we're dating, and if this works out in a couple months, I'm gonna propose. So I hope we're on the same page.
I proposed fast too. It was like we'd
yeah,
been dating
yeah.
like a month or something. We wasted no
No,
time.
not fixed her. I think it was more of a misunderstanding about what was actually happening with that particular thing. So once I was able to once she saw it for what it was not exactly fixing.
Yeah, I talked to my wife
But-
and like, hey, let's get married. At like 3 weeks in, like we had just told each other we loved each other, and I was like, yeah, let's just get married. It'd be good. And she's
Yeah, I
like,
was
yeah,
with-
let's do it. And I was like, That's cool. And we still waited 10 and a half months because her family wanted to have a big wedding and like make us wait forever. But my brother, he got married in 2.5 weeks. Like married, like met the girl and fully married, wedding done.
Is he Satmar?
It was 3 weeks total.
Did it last? Are they still together?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Uh,
Tanner
years?
Two kids.
says the burning
been
bush
7
was
years.
an angel of the Lord, not God.
No, it was the angel of the Lord was
The
in the
angel of
burning
the Lord.
bush with Yahweh. The angel of the Lord
And
is
also
Yahweh,
quote
according to
quote
Genesis
that
16.
quote that
Justin
angel
Martyr.
of the Lord. What did that angel of the Lord say? What did he say when he was in the burning bush?
I am Yahweh.
Mm.
Israel. Yeah.
And note that angel means messenger. It's not like a
Yeah,
taxonomy
right.
or a
We have a
biology.
weird, we have
Right.
a Western idea of what an angel
Is
is,
it
but
taxonomy?
malach,
I
messenger.
said the wrong word. John the Baptist is
Isn't
even
taxonomy
called.
like when you take animals and that's taxidermy? Never mind.
Yeah, I think taxonomy is like when you make a list of different categories and figure out what's in each category.
I was like, your accent just tells me that you're talking about taxidermy, so I just went
We got this armadillo.
Even
sits
John
on
the
my
Baptist is
bookshelf
called
and-
an angelos in the New Testament. He's called a messenger. It's that same
Right.
word. So know that
I mean, there's
the
humans
messenger of
called
the
in
Lord.
the Old Testament as well, using that specific phrase, the melech. So like you have the messenger of the kings.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's kind of like Satan. Satan could theoretically be a job title, or it could be a name.
Right.
Hebrew's just a little vague sometimes, and a lot of the names also have meanings itself.
Mm.
But it's like a non-ontological. It's not a species claim. The angels are not species.
Right.
Spirit beings are a species. Seraphim might be a species, but it's definitely a job title. Cherubim might be a species, but it's definitely a job title.
Kiruvim.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
more honored than the cherubim.
Seeing which one specifically, the dude just spamming.
Huh? Who's spamming what?
There's a dude who's
Cannabis.
claiming to be Jesus in the chat.
Ooh,
Who's
the
claiming to
last
be
person
Jesus
that did that
in
with
my
me
chat?
was a demoniac.
Yeah, or I can't tell if it's your chat or Christian Gadfly's chat because both of your chats look the same in mine for whatever reason. But
I don't see anyone
assume
claiming
it's
to be
yours.
Jesus in my chat.
Oh, it must be. It's Christian Gadfly.
They
Of
always
course.
find me. I don't know how. Izzo magnet.
Yeah, his name is literally Jesus is my name.
Why do some
Oh.
of the things not come
So-
through the chat? That's weird.
You know what's interesting? There was this guy about, I think it must have been at least 10 years ago, but before, there was this guy who built up some sort of internet presence, and he happened to be doing it from my hometown, El Paso, Texas. And he was saying that he's Jesus returned, and I wonder we could all kind of imagine whatever happened to him. He probably, all sorts
Guessing
of who knows
orgies.
what. Yeah, probably, right. But he was making all these videos, and it was like, wow, that's he's from my hometown. So then I'm like, I'm gonna watch, like, what's going on back there, since I haven't been back in a long time. And then he was
Nobody got what I was singing.
more honorable than the Keruvim, the most. Oh, I missed it.
Oh.
And the Keruvim more glorious compared to.
glorious beyond compare than the seraph.
Is this some
it's the-
Catholic tomfoolery? Are you indoctrinating us, Ash?
It's an
Eastern.
Eastern Catholic, Eastern Orthodox hymn for the Blessed Theotokos, sung during the Divine Liturgy.
Theotokos. That's something I've just learned recently. The Theotokos.
Stop doxing yourself. To be fair, that's his childhood city, not what he currently
Yeah,
is.
I ain't there no
He's not
more.
currently in Texas. Yeah.
Although maybe
Yeah, so
one
you
day,
just
no, I
learned
won't go
about
back.
Theotokos?
Yeah, maybe the last year or so.
Do you grant the title to the Blessed Virgin?
Oh, it gets so tricky, Ash. It gets so tricky, and now we're 3 hours in. I don't know if we ought to do
Is she
this
not?
now.
Is she not the God bearer?
She's the godbearer.
Yeah. I think
Now, is she
I
the
was
mother of
upset.
God?
I was upset when I
She is the mother
read
of God.
that was it Hezekiah? Who was it that destroyed the the brass serpent, because it
Hezekiah.
yeah, I remember reading that and think, why'd you do that? Just like tuck it away, take it away from the people, but preserve that. That's really cool. We need that. And so uh the connection, the reason I go to that is I think language gets very tricky in this, because it requires that I don't feel comfortable that saying that Mary was the God bearer, because of paganism, where there is that.
Right. Would
There
you be
is the
comfortable saying that Jews should be circumcised?
Jews should be circumcised. Yes.
But what about paganism and all the pagans that circumcised? What about sacrifices on an altar? Should the Israelites have brought sacrifices on altars?
Oh,
What about all the
no, I see
pagans
what
that
you're
brought
saying there.
sacrifices on altars?
Yeah, no, I see. It's just
Right.
for what makes it difficult for me is when it becomes like again. That's why I brought up the brass serpent. Is there was nothing wrong with that brass serpent, but and also, in my opinion, to preserve the brass serpent would be
So there's nothing
super
wrong
cool.
with calling Mary Theotokos unless people start worshiping her as some kind of deity.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
Well,
a
then
good
good,
way to
because
sum
no
it up.
Catholics or
Yeah,
Orthodox worship Mary as a deity.
yeah, no,
So
and
we're
see,
good.
that's where the language
I
gets
wouldn't,
a little
not
bit
none. I know
difficult.
that there are people out there that are crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's it makes me
I get it. There are
uncomfortable to.
Catholics somewhere, in South America that think that Mary is just like another version of like Mother Earth. I get it.
No, and I know that, and that's not actually what I'm talking about. I mean, I have one of the places I work. I have a Catholic calendar at my desk, because I share a desk with someone, and the prayers that I see to Mary make me very uncomfortable, because they attribute things to her that I think are divine, and it just, it makes me feel not. It doesn't feel very wholesome to me,
Hmm.
because they appeal to her as the way that I pray to Jesus is the way that I'm seeing prayers to Mary, and I think it feels very idolatrous to me. But that's just, that's my very superficial statement on the things. If we were going to have an in-depth talk, I would like to be more informed, and I would like to hear your rebuttals as to, if you would say, hey, no, you can relax because such and such. So I don't want to, I'm not speaking authoritatively. I'm
Yeah.
just speaking more anecdotally.
I was just
When I
curious your take on
read
it.
certain things to Mary, I think, oh, that makes me not so comfortable, because I think this language should be reserved for God only.
No, I get that. We could have a conversation about it. We could do it on a stream if you wanted, and get somebody who's also more knowledgeable than me. If you wanted to talk to somebody who could explain it better than I can, even. So
Well, I actually
I'm not
like
an expert
talking
on
to you though,
Mariology.
because I don't think we need experts.
Right.
I think a lot of the times, it's the people that are working things out for themselves, because the experts are going to give the this side and this side argument, but the people in the in between will bring up things that even a lot of the experts maybe haven't heard or dealt with, because they're secure in their expertise. So it could
Yeah, it
be
would be a fun
interesting either.
conversation. We could do that.
Because then I could
But we'd
also
have to do this at. But
make my pitch to
if I can,
convert you to slippery Judaizing.
well, then we'd have to do this. Anyways.
Yes! We're proud of that.
I found a way to slip Ali Dawah into one of my videos about Judaism. It can be done.
You're a liar! Lying liar! Lying liar from Lying Liar Land on Liars Getting Free Day, boy!
That's one of
Do
the
you have
best
a
ones.
soundboard that works independently of whether or not you have control of the assets in a stream?
Yes, I have a virtual audio cable, so I can play whatever I
Oh.
want through my mic.
I can't do that with the Mac.
So
You're hiding, boy. You're hiding.
yeah, I have a lot of them.
You need to get Uthman
That's
saying
insane.
King of the Elves.
Yeah.
Is Avery
Last
being
stream
king of
was
the
on-
elves?
Yeah, so
Last stream was on
there's
with David.
a
I actually
whole
had David
there's a
quote
whole
David to
religion.
him with me.
It's funny with like a soundboard thing.
It's fun. Yeah, with my mic.
Where
So
he's
there is a
standing.
whole religion in South America that is based around taking Catholic prayers and saints and offering those things to demons that they think are the real things that are being represented. Like that's a whole religion, but they pretend like they're Catholics. So it's a little bit confusing because you see some people that do crazy stuff that appears to be the Catholic Church, but it's not. It's a different religion. Yes.
This is where I might chime in and say
I know the what's the
there's
one where
kind
they
of a
worship
funny
the
Santeria?
dead the skeleton woman, like the drug dealers worship her.
Santeria, I think.
That's what I mean. It's like Mujer de Muerte or something.
Yeah, de los muertos.
La Bruja.
Yeah.
La muerte.
There's a lot of syncretism in the Central
Yeah.
and South American Catholicism.
Well, you
Like
have
the Day
crazy,
of
like
the
somebody was
Dead.
just telling me that. So, like the cartels that are not part of that religion but are Catholics, like the ones that happen to actually be Catholics, but are cartel members, and this would be the same thing with like the Cosa Nostra, with like the Italian like gangs in New York and stuff like that. They were almost like Pharisee legalism with things, with their religious practices. So they would get somebody that they were going to whack and put them in a position where they'd be committing mortal sin and then kill them. Specifically at that point, so that they go to hell. But it's like that's not the way. Like the Catholic Church teaches about mortal sin and venial sin, but that's also not the way that like God is not legalistic. Like that's not the way salvation works. Is not this legalistic mindset, right? And the Catholic Church teaches that you don't that kind of Pharisaism about things doesn't actually align with the gospel.
I thought about writing another college story. I thought about writing a fiction where there was this cult that believed you could only be saved if you were killed right after you accepted Christ, because they thought that you'd sin again and that you couldn't be cleansed of your future sins. That'd be so creepy.
Crazy mystery novel. Wait, so all the cult leaders are not saved?
Yeah, they would just, we're going to get as many people into heaven as we can, but we know we're going to hell anyway, kind of thing.
Pretty.
How can you
wild
trust them?
premise for a book.
It's like a law. Yeah.
Oh, that's why I don't believe like
They
that.
are the
The bad
greatest
guys.
deceivers. So, can somebody explain this to me? Because I'm not very well versed in the Islam stuff. You know the game where you do this, and if the person looks, why do Muslims do that on their thigh while they're praying? Is that like
Because
if you
it's
can
a
get the
violent
if you can get the
religion,
imam
Ash.
to look,
Make sure you don't look.
if
Just
you
make
can
sure you
get the
don't
imam
look.
to look at the end of prayer at your thing that you do.
Just go up and start punching them.
I don't know. Maybe the same reason all their thumbnails look like. It's like, what are you doing? You're trying to take a crap or?
I seriously have no idea what that is, by the way. It's noticed. I'm like, why are they all doing this?
Yeah, well, I have no
Pointing
idea.
towards the.
I never noticed
Pointing
that.
towards Mecca. It's the Qibla. So
Uh,
they're pointing their prayers
Yeah, I've
towards.
seen this, you know, the Tawheed and
But
everything.
what about
but
the
I'm
ring
not-
on
I'm not
like
so-
the?
You do this to point towards Mecca. It's part of your dua. So like you're doing extra supple because they have to pray so much. They're doing extra prayers during their prayers towards Mecca to then get more points on Judgment Day, to then get better paradise, more virgins.
That's pretty wacky.
the Mexican cult's
I mean,
called
they're already
Santa
facing
Muerte,
Mecca.
I think,
What's it
or
called?
the lady she's called Santa Muerte.
Yeah,
Saint
yeah.
Death.
Yeah, that's.
It's because Muhammad did it in the Hadith.
That seems
Looking at
like
their
some
thighs.
Aztec stuff.
They're supple Islamic thighs.
Why did we invite him? I don't need to hear those words.
Steven likes
Oh,
them.
the-
The Islamic prayer
on
leaderboard
Monday
is a
there was-
crazy idea. What?
That's an Islamic idea, yeah. Milky white. On Monday, me and Mary were just going through some of the most deranged stuff. And people are like, yeah, that's enough internet for today. And, today's a terrible day to have ears.
Yeah, there was night vision
With the
brought
Quran,
up,
every
and
day
also
is a terrible way to every day.
And Pakistan.
dolphins.
Quran
There
and
was dolphins.
The bad
Yeah,
combo.
they're actually making a species of dolphin go extinct because they can't stop doing it with them.
There goes my
Killing
monetization
them in the
here too.
process.
Thanks. It's gone.
Yeah, that gray button, Christian, is gonna remain gray for eternity.
for days.
Like mid-process while they're investigating your channel.
Yeah. What
I
is
have
this?
never had a
Man.
video demonetized somehow. I only had one taken down because I quoted the Quran about the Jews. So,
Well, you know who's in charge of YouTube, by the way.
the Muslims. Yeah.
In Indonesia.
Yeah, but why?
All the friends of
Why are the
Tobias Singer.
Muslims in charge? It's-
Yeah.
Who put them in charge?
They're making a good point. I think I'm making a good point.
Yeah, we got the Chris, you and me, we got the Yod Squad. That's a
Yeah, I have my yod handy at all times. Whenever it's like not
But
zoomed
can
in
you
on the
put
camera,
on
kind
your
of just looks like I'm
tefillin in
flicking you
35
off.
seconds?
no.
I
Ash,
cannot,
that was
in
very.
fact,
that was
no. That was very
your
impressive.
legitimizing point. There is the camera goes black.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it comes back and he's got it wrapped like an expert. He's ready to be on the street.
We just need
corner
to. I
asking
can.
I have to confess, I
I'll
didn't
clip
wrap
that
it
for
myself.
you.
I keep a Chabad friend in my closet with my phylacteries. to do it.
What's
we need
the
to
name
do
of that?
a stream and then post
Shabbos
that
Yehud?
every single time someone says you're not a
He's
Jew.
he's my it's like Shabbos Goy, but it's my streaming Jew.
Yeah.
What's the name of that alien who sells pod racer parts in
Oh,
episode 1?
Sabulba.
No, who sells the parts?
No, Guerda.
Oh, that's right.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be a
yeah.
good price.
That's the voice that sounded like Chris was doing. And then I was like, wait a minute. What was George Lucas going for with
I
that?
have some
Right, in my
for you
shop.
in the fridge.
He's like obsessed with money.
No, I have to. I don't keep
Yehuda.
Yehuda in the closet. Yehuda's in the closet all by himself.
Dude, he still messages me on like Facebook and stuff. Like he still DMs me, and I'm like, I have not interacted with you in
He's
over
obsessive.
a year.
He's very obsessive. Like, had I known, like that it was just like a psychosis thing.
I can actually. I will check the date. That
No,
the
seriously,
last
he
time
had
I
some.
interacted
He had
with
some
him.
friend, like as he was becoming religious in college. Supposedly, he had some friend who like was
Love
dating
it.
and then
9
married a
months.
Christian girl and left Judaism, and so he's like.
It has been
He's
9
now
months
in
since
the
I actually talked to
shadows.
the man, and he's still DMing me. He's
Yeah,
here.
Chris, isn't that the
didn't
one that
leave
would show
Radar
up?
alone for like a year and a half.
He showed up on a couple.
Yeah.
We were doing. I think we were in Genesis. Was that the guy?
Yeah,
He would
he
show up and.
he showed up in the comment section and complained a bunch.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's several people like that. What did he DM me about? He just DMs me like takedown videos that he's gonna do in the future of like especially specifically Ash and Israel Horowitz. He'll just DM me videos he's doing about them, and I'm like, my guy, I'm not even talking about rabbinic Judaism right now, other than the fact that Islam is rabbinic Judaism too, Electric Boogaloo. I'm not even focused on that at the moment.
Just
Why
tell
are
him
you
that I'm
still
actually
DMing me
AI.
about stuff with Ash and Israel? It's just I don't get it. I don't understand. But I think it is the Holy Spirit calling to him in some way. He's
Well,
just
Fazy, Chris, you
feeling
had
it.
Fazy for a while, and I haven't seen him in a long time. But he was actually he was an interesting fellow. For that
I think I
Fazy.
You
ran
said it,
him
not
off.
me. The IJP Mexican.
Stole him from me.
Hey, tienes razón.
Maybe he wants
Uh,
tips.
it's true.
I know it's like the guy doesn't show his face online, but accuses like other people of being cowards.
Yeah, and I'm doxing myself left and right with restaurants just for the sake of talking about good coleslaw. It's a noble effort.
Yeah.
Got to defend the
You just wanna
coleslaw.
fight.
Sometimes I wonder if I should dox myself, and then people will like look it up, and then they'll realize that like everyone that lives around me are Navy SEALs and Green Berets.
I mean, I've got a mezuzah
Yeah,
on
I am
my,
no
on my
longer
front door, and I after
Like
October
1,500
7th, I
houses
got a
of
little
like
bit
dangerous
nervous.
people.
I live in a very liberal city now, and there's like maybe 10 gun owners. So I am not in a safe place. My neighbors are the ones who would be coming for me.
Well, my address is
Social Security by accident.
So this time at this restaurant growing up, and they asked me for my social, and I gave
the
it to
last
them.
four of my
Like,
social are, and my favorite color is.
Steven loves Nigerian princes.
Yeah.
Chris is 4 of those gun owners. Yes, I do have a gun per person in my household. So
I am about
Including
to
my
take it
kids.
off. I'm too tired, guys. I'm out of
It's
steam.
it's a good. I
yeah,
have to
we
live
can.
stream on
This is
Zoom.
a good time to close. So how about we say goodnight, and we'll do the outro video, and then say goodbye off air.
Mm.
All good. All right. Have a good night, everyone. It's been fun. Hope you learned something
Lila
about
Tov.
Reform rabbis along the way, and Alex O'Connor's dishonesty.
Uh-huh.
Unless he really didn't know, but I have
Yeah.
find it hard to believe. All right. Good night. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.